said, of the postseason. Kentucky is trying to ruin that dream tonight. Mark Stoops and his squad, coming off of a close overtime loss to Texas, take the field here in Lexington. And now the Volunteers are out of mulligans on this season as they aim for the college football playoff for the second consecutive year. They come in with a pair of losses on this season and understand that they cannot afford another if they want to return to the 12-team playoff. It's been a remarkable run under Josh Heupel, who has turned around this program over the last handful of years. But they seemingly have lost some excitement in Knoxville. They can regain it with a postseason run. And oh, by the way, huge matchup to close the season against Vanderbilt, who won again today and is poised to break through to the CFP in their own right. But Tennessee has dominated this series. The Volunteers have won 37 of the last 40. And outside of a Matt Roark quarterback competition situation a handful of years ago, that streak would have continued. Mark Stoops' squad seems to be at its best when less is expected of them and when the challenge is its highest. But Cutter Boley, who grew up in this state, grew up a Kentucky fan, knows all about this Tennessee rivalry and gets his first crack at a border opponent. Let's get you to the field. Cole Kublik is with Josh Heupel.
Coach, with your leading tackle Aaron Carter out or limited tonight, how does that make you adjust defensively?
Yeah, in this game, next guy's got to step up. So we got to win with physicality tonight. That's going to be all 11. Need to start fast.
You mentioned this game, rivalry game. What do you tell your team to keep their emotions in check?
Yeah, play smart. In this one, the details are going to matter. That's alignment, assignment, execution. Nothing post-whistle.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Our same motto: alignment, assignment, and execution. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole down on the field. The opportunity in front of Tennessee is right there should they win out. They can return to the college football playoff. But in a rivalry game, the opportunity for Kentucky is to ruin their opponent's dream.
No doubt. And that's something that you mentioned Kentucky has done well. But on the Tennessee side, the margin for error is gone after losses to Georgia and Alabama. If they're going to get back to the college football playoffs, it starts here, and they need to run the table. It's going to look different, though. Last year, they did it with elite defense. This year, it's going to be Joey Aguilar with a bunch of new pieces that they replaced all over the field, leading them to the college football playoff on top of an elite offense. And I've been so impressed with the fit that Joey Aguilar has made into this offense, just showing up in the summer, first real practice in fall camp, and hasn't skipped a beat. He looks like he's made for this offense.
Meanwhile, for Kentucky, Cutter Boley has taken the reins at quarterback. Last week, 31 of 39. The most completions for Kentucky freshman quarterback since the hefty lefty himself, Jared Lorenzen. They didn't get the offense they wanted. It's been a dearth of points for Kentucky. However, he has breathed life into this program.
No doubt. There's some hope and confidence that you see with this Kentucky team since Cutter Boley took over. This is a team, remember, that the last couple years, 3 in a row, have depended on transfer quarterbacks. Tried to do it again this year with Zach Calzada. That didn't work out. So the homegrown kid has taken over this program and, like you said, injected some enthusiasm and life. And we'll see if it pays off tonight here at Kroger Field.
Kentucky won the toss, elected to defer, so Tennessee will have its top offense on the field to get us started. Aiden LaRosse will kick it off. Peyton Lewis back to receive for the Volunteers, and we are underway to Bluegrass. No return. And the 5-2 Volunteers, who are 2-2 league play, come out with Joey Aguilar, the grad student from Antioch, California, who has had a long and winding road to get to this point. His offensive coordinator, Joey Halsley, said this guy has a great feel for what is in front of him, but there's very little pressure on him. Leading the SEC in passing yards, third in touchdowns. And his Tennessee offense is at its best in the early going. First quarter numbers have been off the charts. They keep it on the ground to start. This is Deshaun Bishop. Tennessee led the SEC in rushing last year, and Bishop picks up 1 yard on first down.
Yeah, Joey Aguilar from nearly quitting football at a junior college out in California, gray shirting, to now leading a premier program to a potential college football playoff berth. The journey has been unbelievable.
On 2nd and 9, he delivers a dime on time to Mike Matthews, who's able to pick up the first down on a gain of 14.
Yeah, something to watch. The right side of the offensive line, true freshman David Sanders making his first career start. And if Joey Aguilar is going to take the top off this Kentucky defense, it's going to be Chris Brazzell on the outside for Kentucky. Best linebacker, Alex Safari.
Face mask. Defense, number 6. 15 yards will be out until the end of the play. First down.
That's J.Q. Hardaway. Continue.
Yeah. J.Q. Hardaway will be the guy they'll be matching with Chris Brazzell at times down the field. He is long, 6'4", for a corner on the outside. Tennessee really wants to get explosive plays back into this offense through the air, something that the last couple years hasn't quite been the same as we're used to seeing under the Josh Heupel system.
It's not very often that you have a record-setting offense and you go into an offseason and you reload it.
Yes.
And you change what has worked seemingly so well. Aguilar to the perimeter. This is Mike Matthews again. And Matthews is able to fight his way for a first down before Rashid Scott brings him down.
Yeah, Matthews, one of these talented young receivers, a true sophomore. You're going to see 3 guys in there. Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell, as I mentioned, and Braylon Staley. They don't rotate much on the outside. It'll be a heavy dose of those 3 all night.
4-man route. He's going deep into the end zone, wide open. It's Chris Brazzell the second, and it's a 35-yard strike on the opening drive for Tennessee. They waste very little time. They only need 4 plays to cover 75 yards.
Always love when an offense makes me look smart as an analyst. You know, picking my impact players. I'm like, Chris Brazzell's going to get involved early in this game downfield, and what do you know? Aguilar finds him on the first drive for a big play.
That is his 8th touchdown of the season for Brazzell. And the point after from Max Gilbert is banged through. They lead the FBS in points in the first quarter.
Yeah, first thing I want to know, this is called pull protection. It's a run action. They want to get the eyes of the second-level players, these linebackers and safeties. They want to get their eyes in the backfield. And then they're going to attack the post-high safety with an over route and a deep post. He takes the over, stays flat. Aguilar sees that, throws it over the top to Brazzell for a touchdown. Look at how poised and relaxed Joey was right there under pressure. Knew he was going to take a big hit, but knew if he just held it for a second longer, that window was going to open downfield. And what a statement drive for Tennessee here. Remember, they're coming off the loss to Alabama. We talked about the margin for error in the college football playoffs. They got to run the table, essentially. That's a great way to start here in a tough environment on the road.
Aguilar's been great at the gun all season long, and that's the 6th time in 8 games that Tennessee has scored on its opening drive. Josh Turbeville's got it on a tee. Kendrick Law back to receive for Kentucky. We'll see if the Cats can answer. And no return. Well, one thing we'll see differently from Kentucky tonight, Cutter Boley, they're going to put him under center more than he has been in the gun. And the performance against Texas, as I said, gave this program some life.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is the efficiency. Completed 80% of his passes, and really the focus the last couple weeks for this offense under Bush Hamdan has been to get the ball out quickly. So his time to pass, the average time it takes from the snap to the pass, has decreased every single week for Boley. While his completion percentage has increased, he's become much more efficient. And schematically, this offense is starting to adapt around what Boley does best. You're going to see a lot more quick passing game, spread sets. They'll still mix in the tight ends as they normally do, but it's starting to evolve around their young quarterback.
Dante Dowdell is the running back to start for Kentucky. And they pull it out of his belly, and now Boley will have a chance to run. He was fantastic in the ground game against Texas when big holes opened up, and Edwin Spillman finally comes in for the stop for Tennessee.
Remember, Dante Dowdell is really the backup running back to Seth McGowan. But we talked to Mark Stoops earlier. McGowan is banged up. He was going to be available. They're going to see how much he would go, so I expect a heavy dose of Dowdell tonight and maybe a little bit of McGowan. We'll keep an eye on that if he does end up coming in.
On the other side, we don't expect to see much of Arion Carter, star linebacker for Tennessee tonight. He's got a foot injury. Here's Boley, the freshman, once again uses his legs, and he picks up the first down.
Yes, you're going to see my impact players here. Seth McGowan, the question mark, how much will he play? Will he play? He's banged up. Kendrick Law is the guy for Kentucky. They got to find ways to get him early touches. He's their most explosive athlete. And on the other side, you got to worry about number 19 for Tennessee, Joshua Josephs. He's one of the best pass rushers in the country, so we'll keep an eye on that matchup. And Jeremiah Thielander, with Arion Carter out, they will rely on the experience of Thielander a lot on the second level there tonight for Tennessee.
Fresh set of downs. It's Josh Caddis, the tight end, in motion. Boley swings it out for a screen. It's Hartley Gilmore. And great defense by Colton Hood for a Tennessee team that's missing a couple of key players in the secondary, specifically at corner this year.
Yeah, Colton Hood, what an addition. They're banged up on the second level. Missing, obviously, Ricky Gibson, who got hurt week 1, and Gerard McCoy, who got hurt back in January, the ACL injury, still working back. The Colorado transfer. Tim Banks said, I don't know what we'd do without you. We'd be hurt. Because on the other side, they got a true freshman, really talented player, Ty Redmond. But we'll see if Kentucky can exploit any of those matchups in the secondary.
Boley delivers a strike, but it's off the hand of Willie Rodriguez. That was a fastball out of the hand of the freshman quarterback.
Hey, fellas, just a heads up, too, on Seth McGowan. I watched him in warm-ups. He did go through warm-ups, is available tonight, as Jordan said, just limited. Not sure how much we'll see him.
And now 3rd and long for Kentucky. Its opening drive last week against Texas was a good one until they stalled late and failed to convert a 4th down.
Empty backfield. Okay, they're going to bring Jason Patterson back in. I mentioned that's Joshua Josephs there, one of the best pass rushers, working on Alex Wolschlager on the right side to see if they help him out or leave him one-on-one.
They bring pressure, and they almost got to him. Boley escapes and delivers wide. Boley is so good on the run, and when he leaves the pocket, that might be necessary against this pressure Tennessee defense. He was able to escape Joshua Joseph.
Yeah, and that play a little longer developing, so there wasn't a quick option for Cutter Boley. As you see him, he's feeling that hit. Josephs is going to come right off the edge. Speed rush on Wolschlager, almost gets there. Cutter does a great job of stepping up, getting out, and then just never saw the corner coming downhill there.
Luke Carter back to receive this one from Adel Ross, and he takes a fair catch at the 17-yard line after a 42-yard punt. Step away for a timeout. Tennessee's second possession coming up. Painted on it to avoid outcries of an alcohol drum symbolizing a rivalry during the Prohibition era. It was in Hawk's Closet, the fantastic equipment man for Tennessee for a number of years. Josh Heupel brought it out last year to show his team before this Kentucky game, and now it can be found in the Founders Suite at Neyland Stadium. Always nice to have a trinket to play for, but when it's a border rival, the emotions usually run high regardless. And now Joey Aguilar back to work.
Getting a good look there at David Sanders at right tackle.
His first start for the top prospect. Now they lose yardage on 2nd down.
Yeah, the 5-star, ESPN's #1 offensive tackle, worked his way back from injury, made his debut against Mississippi State, had a handful of snaps. Last week against Bama was his most time, and that kind of changes the entire offensive line. Everybody bumps down, so they had the same starting lineup for the whole start of this season. Now a lot of new faces here on 3rd and long.
Sanders 6'8", 305. Kentucky sends the house, and they get to Aguilar. David Rayner with the sack, his first of the season.
Yeah, so you're going to see Jesse Perry here is going to work down, and then Deshaun Bishop's going to come up and try to help out. A little bit of miscommunication as you saw Deshaun Bishop's eyes were inside at first. I think he thought Jesse Perry was going to take the outside guy. Then he had to redirect late, and that caused the pressure on Aguilar. Again, 3 guys in new spots for that offensive line for Tennessee.
Jackson Ross gets a low punt away and a tumbler that comes down at the 47 and checks up. And then some friendly fire for Tennessee. Let's break down Cutter Boley's game.
Yeah, we mentioned Bush Hamden's emphasis of getting the ball out quickly. Last 2 weeks, that's been what they want to do. You see here, 1.6 seconds. You got pressure. Then he extends the play. Ball's got to come out quickly. It's been hot or cold. Bad things happen the longer he holds onto the ball. You see here, pressure comes quick. What's your answer? Get rid of the ball quickly. Great anticipation throw to the sideline to Kendrick Law. And again here, quick decisions. When pressure is there, it doesn't always have to be a throw. You got pressure, make the decision, get north and south, use your athleticism. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but the quicker the ball comes out of Cutter Boley's hands, or the quicker he makes decisions, the more efficient he has been. The play calling's going to match that. But as a young quarterback, you got to always remember, your feet can be your best friend as well at times.
Second opportunity for Boley in this Kentucky offense. And a huge hole on the left side. That's Jason Patterson, the redshirt freshman from Sneads, Florida, who had 7 carries against Texas, a third of his carries on the season coming last week. Probably a sign, as Cole mentioned, that McGowan will be even more limited than we thought tonight, with Patterson being featured early behind Dowdell. Here's 2nd and 4. Boley over the middle, and that one's too much. And there is a flag down in the secondary. Hardly Gilmore was the, in the backfield. Hardly Gilmore was the intended receiver. This would be the second on Kentucky, based on Stoops' reaction.
Personal foul, hands in the face, offense, number 50. 15-yard penalty, will make 2nd down.
All right, Taylor, thank you. We welcome those of you who watched Texas survive against Mississippi State despite Arch Manning getting injured late in that game. Matthew Caldwell leading the Longhorns to another overtime victory, this time 45-38. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kublik in his rivalry game. Joey Aguilar got off to a quick start for Tennessee, 4 for 4 on the opening drive for a score. And then Kentucky got a huge sack to force a punt on Tennessee's second possession. This is Cutter Boley, the redshirt freshman, on the run and delivers to the edge to DJ Miller, the freshman from St. Louis, only his 3rd catch of the year.
Boy, we've been talking about Cutter Boley and making fast decisions. That time protection was great. You could tell he wanted to escape, didn't rush himself, got outside the pocket, delivered a strike, like you mentioned, Tom, to DJ Miller, true freshman, a guy they're trying to get involved a lot more the last couple weeks.
Boley's great on the run. He's in the 98th percentile among 161 FBS quarterbacks. Tennessee may have jumped, and Boley gets swallowed up. They'll pay the price, but that one coming back. This is an aggressive Tennessee defense. Tied for 3rd in the country in sacks.
Offside, defense, number 31. In the neutral zone at the time of the snap. That 5-yard penalty results in the 1st down.
That's Caleb Herring, who had 2 sacks in the game against Mississippi State. This has been a thorn in Tennessee's side all season.
At that time, a little pressure dialed up there, but Josh Heupel emphasized to Cole at the start of the game, can't let emotions in a rivalry game take over, can't have anything post-snap. Also, got to be really smart, can't have mental mistakes like that pre-snap as well.
Handed off to Jason Patterson, who gets spun around and will lose yardage. If you joined us late, Kentucky likely to be without Seth McGowan, their leading rusher on this season. Dante Dowdell and Jason Patterson sharing the load in the run game.
And you see Edwin Spillman there for Tennessee. Tennessee's without their leading tackler, Arian Carter, as well in this game. So a lot of new faces. It is the SEC, right? This time of year, everybody's banged up. Everybody's a little injured. It's about who's got the most depth here in the meat of the SEC schedule.
On 2nd and 13, a swing out to Patterson, and he breaks free, and that'll set up 3rd and long. We talked about this earlier, but Butch Hamden, the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, says we've got to get the ball out of Cutter's hands quickly. We'll basically simplify the offense. And they had a new motto. Kevin Barbet, who's next to him, said we've got to learn to throw it without throwing it. It sounds like coach speak. What does it mean?
Well, they're actually going to throw it, but it's the extension of the run game. It's easy layup throws for Cutter Boley. High percentage throws to get guys in space, get the ball out of his hands, take some pressure off the offensive line.
There was a lot of pressure on him when he took over for Zach Calzada early this season. A lot of pressure from Tennessee. It's batted and intercepted. It's another defensive score for the Volunteers. A 45-yard return for Idris Farouk. 5th defensive touchdown on the season for the Volunteers.
Two blitzers here, one here and one here, and this is actually a really good decision. He's got a hot route right here. Boley's trying to get the ball out quickly, but Farouk does an even better job just reading the eyes, knowing when we're blitzing, the quarterbacks want to get rid of it early. Got his hands up, batted it to himself, and assist and touchdown Farouk.
It's not just an elite offense, one of the best in the country, but it's an opportunistic defense. The 5th defensive touchdown to tie Louisiana Tech for the national lead. And the Volunteers have a 2-touchdown lead in the opening quarter.
Due now.
Elite offense, opportunistic defense, and Tennessee's got a 14-0 lead against Kentucky in this rivalry game that dates back to 1893. Here's why it's important for the Volunteers. Their playoff chances stand at 18% right now should they win out, and that's certainly a viable option. Those numbers jump to 90%. You'd have to weave your way through a lot of traffic in the SEC, but by winning out, including closing the season against Vanderbilt at home, that's what's in front of them.
And it would get real next week as well. We're not saying this game's over. Oklahoma comes to town. They lost today to Ole Miss. Obviously, Heupel has a lot of ties to Oklahoma, so
yeah, he seemed extra motivated when they went to Norman last year.
Yeah, but that's why we talked to him. You can't allow this game to be a trap game. So I know they're up 14 and all the conversations about college football playoff, but we and that Tennessee defense, or excuse me, team, can't get ahead of themselves here. Still a lot of ball game left.
Well, it's a Kentucky offense that has struggled against power conference opponents since 23. They've scored 2 or fewer offensive touchdowns in all 13 games against such opponents. And another stat that makes the hill a little bit steeper, if not a lot. Mark Stoops, as a head coach here, has overcome one 14-point deficit since he's been here. That was against Eastern Kentucky in overtime in 2015.
Well, Kentucky's never been built to really come from behind. They're not a drop-back passing team traditionally. No matter who the quarterback is, they're a team that wants to keep the game even, milk possessions, run the football, play action off that. They're going to have to lean on Cutter Boley here. A little more drop-back passing game than Bush Hamden probably wants to get back into this one.
They start with the run game, and Jason Patterson seeing a lot of time. But part of the struggles for Kentucky over the years has been the offensive ineptitude, the dearth of points, and the rotation at quarterback. They've started 7 different quarterbacks in that span. Nobody else in the league has started more than 5. Injuries have played a role in that. Misses in the transfer portal have been a big part of it. And now Kentucky dealing with an injury on the offensive line. They're looking at the right knee of senior Jagger Burton. And Cole, that's a guy who is the anchor of what they thought would be a reinvented Big Blue Wall.
There's no doubt he's played really good football this year, and I've had multiple conversations with Eric Wolford, the offensive line coach, just about Jagger Burton playing at center. Guys, think about this. He blocked for Will Levis. If you want to get an idea of just how long he's been inside this program, been around this program, he verbalizes everything, communicates everything. As physical as a lineman as they have, would be an absolutely brutal loss.
Evan Wibberly, junior from Edgewood, Kentucky, transfer from WKU, is getting loose with Cutter Boley. It also might impact a little bit of this. Kentucky has operated out of the shotgun on 92% of its snaps all season. The thought was, and the word was, Cutter Boley was going to be under center more in this game and going forward. He told us yesterday, I'm comfortable being under center. I like turning my back to the defense. It works really well, and I've worked a lot with Jagger Burton on receiving those snaps. Well, I feel like that changes a ton if you bring Wibberly into this game.
It does. No, you still get those snaps. You got a center quarterback exchange every day, and if they're going to go to this, and I actually talked to Bush Handon before the game today on the field and said, did you do more after practice? He said, yeah, we had to spend a little more time on it, repping it, but it's definitely different. There's no doubt about it.
They've been in the gun throughout this entire first quarter. Now the third possession after Boley threw a pick six the last time out. This is Kendrick Law. Got a good block and a cut to the edge. And Law's got the sideline. And this is what Kendrick Law brings to the table. 71-yard strike. A few weeks ago, Kentucky was trying to find out how they could feature Kendrick Law more. They called the Kansas City Chiefs and say, how do you get a guy with this kind of speed, the ball in a place to score? And they must have picked up some good film. Second touchdown of the year for Law.
Had the big catch and run in overtime last week as well against Texas that set him up inside the 5-yard line. Anytime you create explosives off quick throws, it takes really good blocking on the outside.
Kentucky did some research. They found out that their most explosive plays came on short passes. That's the longest pass of the year.
No doubt. Watch Jamori Macklin, number 9. He's going to have the initial block, and then J.J. Hester. Here's the initial block. Great physical job there at the point of attack. And then J.J. Hester seals off the corner right there, number 4. And Kendrick Law, special athlete, physical specimen, showing the speed there. Bush Handon mentioned we got to find ways to get number 1 the football as many times as possible in space. I'd say that one paid off.
You know, go in the book is a 71-yard completion, 74 yards after the catch. Cole, that was impressive.
Essentially throwing it without throwing it, like you said earlier, right? They have to create those explosives. I just wanted to add, that's maybe the kindest blocking analysis by a human being I've ever heard in my life. Great job on that one, Jordan Rogers.
Hey,
you got in the way.
The standard, that's all you got to do.
I'm
the standard for receivers blocking is much lower than offensive linemen. Let's not get it twisted. If you get in the way, that's all you got to do. Make them run around you. Hey, don't take away from the skinny guys out there throwing some blocks, Cole. They can do it too.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. Just get in the way.
Yeah.
Aiden LaRosse will kick it away. Tennessee scored on its opening possession and then went 3 and out with a sack on its second. What a journey it's been for their junior college quarterback, Joey Aguilar. He told us that he had a high school class where they studied to be firefighters. He said, we did everything in the class. We practiced search and rescue. We cleaned the trucks. We rolled out the hoses. That's where he was going had he given up on his football dream. And all these stops included a brief switch to UCLA before the Nico trade. And he showed up at Tennessee late May, crash course to learn the offense. The rest of the team shows up June 1st. And, buddy, this is your truck to drive. Did you like that cartoon?
That was good. Did you draw that?
Yeah. Stayed up all night. Aguilar has to roll out and dumps it off to his tight end. And Miles Kitzelman turns something out of nothing.
You know what I love about talking to everybody in the program about Joey Aguilar is he was intentional getting here in the summer about getting guys together on Saturdays for walkthroughs and for player-led practices. Jeremiah Thielander said, we've never had a quarterback that has done that. And not just the practices and the football reps, but got guys together outside of football, taking guys to the lake, trying to create relationships. So the short amount of time he had a crash course in learning this offense, he definitely invested in relationships as well. And that's why he's not just a really good quarterback, he's a great leader early in his tenure here with this program.
He delivered a great line to us this week. He said, listen, football will end these relationships I'm going to have for my entire life. Tennessee looking at a 3rd and 7. Kentucky trying to climb back in this game. Cats bring 4. Pocket collapses, and it's incomplete to Peyton Lewis. It was Quaysheed Scott who delivered the hit on Lewis. But with Joey Halsley, he said Joey Aguilar's got to operate in an unclean pocket. We'll get into it next possession, but they changed their blocking scheme over the offseason. There's Joey. Said he's got to be comfortable stepping up. It's not going to be a giant wall in front of him, and it certainly wasn't there. Tamori Macklin back to receive for Kentucky. And a little pause before the punt from Jackson Ross, the Aussie. And Macklin takes a fair catch at the 25. That was a 46-yard punt. Kentucky looking for some momentum in this rivalry game. Offense back on the field after this. Combined points. Joey Aguilar in Tennessee wasted no time. 4 plays, 75 yards, opening drive. Another opening drive score. And then a pick 6 on a carom into the hands of Farouk. Made the play all by himself and took it 45 yards. Then Cutter Boley let Kendrick Law take this one 71 yards. So here's where we stand. Nothing doing on the run. Tennessee blows that up. Dominic Bailey.
Yeah, those explosive plays for Kentucky have been elusive. Just 37 of them coming into the game on the year. That's good enough for 129th in the FBS. So first quarter, getting a big one like that. Ball in Kendrick Law's hand.
Timeout on the field for a player.
It's a good sign for this offense and young quarterback. Take some pressure off him.
Bryson Eason is the injured player for Tennessee. 6th year, 3rd season as a starter for the young man out of Memphis Whitehaven they call Big E. Well, he's being tended to by the Tennessee athletic training staff. Good sign for Kentucky on that first play. Jagger Burton returned to the field at center.
Well, I'll tell you, this is equally as brutal because Bryson Eason has been incredible for that Tennessee defense, specifically last week against Alabama. He was north-south right out of the gate.
You see the first play of the game,
Just
Cole?
blew
pancake the left guard
right there into the backfield, and
for a TFL. He's a monster down there.
He has been great inside, and I had a couple conversations with Rodney Gardner about different individuals, specifically him. And Rodney's not one to really go out of his way to compliment his guys. He likes to stay hard on them, but said he's really had a great year. Been really proud of him so far this season.
Gardner is the Tennessee defensive line coach. This is an aggressive defense, as we mentioned, under Tim Banks. They get vertical. Banks was talking to us last night at the team hotel. He said we've got to be disciplined in our rush lanes. The strength is getting vertical so that it kind of works against them in some ways when you face a quarterback who's willing to run.
Yeah, and we saw Cutter Boley last week when things broke down make some big plays with his legs. So you got to break down when you got a quarterback that's athletic enough.
Boley has to pull it back before he gets rid of it. They want Cutter Boley to make quicker decisions, get it out of his hand immediately.
I talked to Bush Hamden before the game. I said, is there anything you need to see, want to see, have to get going early? He said, Cole, we just have to have a couple completions for the kid early on. He said, confidence, I need to build it. I need him to trust the system, trust where we're trying to go with this offense. So those quick passes that you guys brought up early, doing more than just gaining yards. Bush Hamden, the offensive coordinator, believes that's going to help his confidence for 4 quarters.
And I go trips to the right, looking at 3rd and 12. Tennessee sends 5. Boley gets rid of it on a slant. That's short of the first down marker to Cameron Miller. All 3 of Miller's catches coming into this game came against Georgia. And now 4th and 2. And they'll send the punt team onto the field. By the way, I just want to add, Bush Hamden is a joy to meet with, and he is fully aware of Kentucky's offensive struggles and the stress that it puts on this program, but he doesn't pull any punches with us. He knows where this offense has failed. He knows where they've been the last couple of seasons, and he takes a lot of that on his own shoulders. Fair catch taken after a 37-yard punt. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate.
Go ahead.
Well, Aguilar's 5 of 6 to start this game. Not bad. You're probably going there.
Not bad, but I was going to say that they got to find that momentum that they had on the first drive. Haven't really got much going the last couple drives. Remember, this offense, you see the big plays downfield and you think they want to throw it all over the yard. They want to run the football first. With the spacing they use with the wide receivers, they got to get the run game going north and south to open up some of those pass plays to the perimeter.
We had a fantastic meeting with their coaching staff yesterday as Aguilar goes deep down the sideline and hauled in by Brazel. Second big catch of the game for Brazel. He's got a 35-yard touchdown, and that one goes for 45.
Yeah, the 6'5 receiver picking on the 5'11 cornerback to Ryan Nichols. This deep ball was a thing of beauty. I think that's the biggest impact Joey Aguilar's skill set has made on this offense. The ability to throw the deep ball, not just successfully, but with the air and accuracy that he throws it with. Nico couldn't do that last year. Joe Milton couldn't do that a couple years ago. If you're a Tennessee fan, how many times do you see that ball come out like a laser downfield and just 5 or 6 yards too long to the receivers? Never gave him a chance.
Halsley compared him to Dylan Gabriel, who he had at UCF, and he said Gabriel had the best deep ball I'd ever seen, and he's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks.
Delay game. Defense, number 60, for simulating action at the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's David Gusta.
Well, watch the throw. He identifies one-on-one coverage at the line of scrimmage. And just watch his shoulder tilt. Watch how much air he puts on this ball. You can see it as it comes out of his hands and just drops it right in the bucket on the money.
He didn't show the same sort of arm strength you've seen on tape this year when he was at Appalachian.
No, I was actually really concerned as I went back and watched his tape from App State. Just his arm strength and ability to push the ball not just downfield but to the perimeter.
Here's a swing pass to Braylon Staley, who was in the backfield, and he picks up a first down.
And actually had a great conversation with offensive coordinator Joey Halsley about that yesterday. I said, were you concerned, like when the first time you watched him, did you think that would fit? He goes, man, I agree with you. Some of the balls would die a little bit to the perimeter, but we made a couple changes mechanically. He was an upper body thrower, focused a little bit more on getting his weight back and using more of his lower body. You see the velocity improved and the accuracy to the outside has improved vastly.
Here's Brazel again, weaves through traffic and stretched for it. And there's a flag that came in late. It'll be holding against Tennessee, and they'll back this one up.
Holding, offense, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Remains first down.
Yeah, Halsley went to work with mechanics. He said, let's drive the football. Let's be a back foot thrower. What does back foot thrower mean?
Well, when you get your weight back a little bit, it allows you to rotate your lower body and you get more torque and power from your legs as opposed to leaning. Think about a pitcher. When a pitcher leans, they have a mound. They're able to generate velocity. When you're a quarterback, you're throwing on flat ground. If you lean, you lose your lower body power. So he just refocused a little bit of the mechanics, and you saw the velocity increase, and obviously the accuracy and efficiency to the outside is paramount in this offense, and he's excelling in that area.
Huge hole for Star Thomas, who takes it straight ahead, and he's down inside the 1-yard line. 17-yard burst for Thomas. They mark it at the 1. Mentioned this earlier. If you joined us late, new look Tennessee offensive line at right tackle. It's a star freshman David Sanders Jr. getting his first start. Jesse Perry moves to guard, and they got Sam Pendleton still at center. And then Wendell Moy now at left guard. Thomas in the backfield with Aguilar. Again straight ahead. And he's in. Touchdown Tennessee as the Volunteers create a little bit more wiggle room.
There's the drive Tennessee needed. That looked a lot more like that opening drive from Joey Aguilar. And just like the opening drive, a big explosive play to Chris Brazel really opened things up.
It was a 47-yard strike to Brazel down the sideline. which put him in striking distance. And then the 5th touchdown of the season for Thomas caps a 5-play, 72-yard drive. Max Gilbert punches it through.
Well, this thing got opened up with that big throw down the sideline, dropping it in the bucket in one-on-one coverage to Chris Brazel, picking on the shorter corner to Ryan Nichols. And then the physicality. This offensive line, as Mark Stoops mentioned, is probably the best they have faced all year. And you see the physicality here at the goal line, punching it in.
And Cole, they totally redid who they are as an offensive team when it comes to the blocking scheme. How hard is that to change in an offseason?
Well, they had a little bit of it, but they put the emphasis on that pull protection, which, by the way, both explosive pass plays for Tennessee have come on that pull protection tonight. There were other smaller points of emphasis of not trying to get down in a three-point stance in short yardage. Glenn Elby, the offensive line coach, told me before the game, we really wanted to learn how to gain leverage and keep our power because he likes his tackles up in a two-point stance with the line of sight, being able to read the defense, what they're doing. So it was just retooling some of the finer arts of how they do certain things and then going further with some of the things that they did. That pull protection conversation we had was absolutely fascinating. I know we'll spend more time on it later in the game.
Yeah, for football nerds and offensive line guys like Aaron Taylor would appreciate it. Cole was in his sweet spot. They lean on a bunch of NFL teams, of course, connections to the Browns with the Haslam family, and Dustin Colquitt got him in touch with some guys with the Chiefs. If Kentucky can answer once again, Cutter Boley has started this game 5 of 9 for 98 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. We had the South Carolina game about a month ago, and in the second quarter things unraveled quickly. It was a pick 6 and a strip sack was returned, and then another pick led to another South Carolina score. Boley seems like the learning curve is pretty steep, and he's made considerable progress since then.
Yeah, and he's got to remember as a young quarterback, situational football. The situation right now is you're down 14. The other situation is the first quarter. You don't have to get it all back in one play in one drive. I think Kentucky needs to get back to getting the ground game going. Just 7 rushing yards from Jason Patterson, -2 from Dante Dowdell. They got to help the young quarterback out.
And they're able to fit it in to Cameron Miller, who picks up a first down.
And remember, we haven't seen Seth McGowan tonight, their best player on offense, star running back. We knew he was going to be banged up coming into this one. Thought he would just be limited, maybe on a pitch count.
I don't know that we've seen Dante Dowdell outside of the opening possession either.
Very true. It's been a lot of Jason Patterson, their third running back. So keep an eye on, see if Dowdell is banged up on the sideline. Right now I see him talking to a trainer.
Here's a toss to Patterson, and Tennessee had that one snuffed out. It'll be a loss of a yard.
And what they lose with Jason Patterson, he's a good back, but the physicality that McGowan and Dowdell bring. McGowan, 215, 220 pounds. Dante Dowdell, 230 pounds. So much more physical between the tackles. It doesn't always have to be perfect from a blocking standpoint. They can break a tackle, run through somebody. As you see Dante Dowdell back out there, it's a good sign for this Kentucky offense.
Yeah, when Mark Stoops' offense has been at its best, it's been with big backs.
Yeah.
Benny Snell was 2 1/4. Chris Rodriguez, 224 pounds. 4-man rush, and Boley unloads. A little too strong for Hardly Gilmore. Coverage by the true freshman, Ty Redmond.
Well, that's one that Cutter Boley's going to want back. You see him put his head down. He knows he missed that one. That's the matchup they want. They want to attack that young corner, true freshman Ty Redmond. And that time, Hardly Gilmore had a step. You got to throw that downfield, or at least leave it on the field. We were just talking about Joey Aguilar. Putting air on the ball, put more air on it. If you underthrow it, at least your receiver can come back and try to make a play on the football. Can't have that one end up out of bounds.
Cats 0 for 3 on 3rd down here in the opening quarter. Tennessee sends everybody, and they complete it to Gilmore. Tries to reverse field, and the entire pile will make it a lot closer, and the ball came loose. It's still loose. Finally scooped up by Macklin, and now Tennessee's got a shot at it. It's like a grease pig contest at the county fair, and if you haven't seen one of those, you ain't living. Macklin had it for a moment, and Perlotti ended up with it. There are multiple flags on the field.
I don't don't even know what just happened. I think 3 people touched the ball in that play. Maybe 4 or 5 if you count Tennessee guys. How many grease pig contests have you been in?
Enough.
You ever been the pig?
Should have been here last night.
Rolling on the play is a fumble by the offense, recovered by the defense. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, fumbling team, number 75. It's half the distance to the goal. First down.
There's Josh Brown. The flag was all the way out of the 26. The Tennessee possession will be inside the 20. Here's how it started.
Gilmore just trying to extend the play, and it's like Harmon comes in. Joshua Josephs maybe, not sure who ripped it out. Oh, he just kind of lost it there at the end. Did a good job securing it, then as he was falling, lost it. And then it was just football follies after that.
Yeah, I'm not certain his knee wasn't down before that came out at the very beginning.
Very close.
Second turnover of the quarter for Kentucky. And this has a chance to get ugly early.
I remember the first one, a pick 6 on a mistake from Cutter Boley. This one crucial as well. And here's, watch the knee here of Hardly Gilmore. Oh no, yeah, that ball started moving.
Yeah,
it was really close though.
Tennessee, one of the best in the opening quarter in college football, and Deshaun Bishop out of Carnes High School picks up a couple. That'll leave second and goal from the 2 when we return for the second quarter. A 21-point opening frame by Tennessee. 14 from the offense, 7 from the defense. Playoff hopes still kicking for the Volunteers.
Coach, I know quick completions were the primary goal offensively. You got a couple here in the first quarter. How do you continue to build on that for the rest of this game?
Well, it doesn't matter if we can't handle the ball. You know, we fumble on the ball there, get a tip for an interception. Just been very sloppy with the football. You know, getting in no rhythm right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Volunteers lead the country in first quarter scoring. They've scored on 17 of 26 first quarter possessions this season. That is wild. Second quarter starts with Deshaun Bishop. He's bottled up on the left side. And that'll set up third and goal.
Yeah, went back to that 2 tight end look. Ethan Davis missed the last 4 games with injury. He's back in the lineup, so we expected to see a lot more 12 personnel. Haven't really needed to get into it tonight.
12 personnel, 1 running back and 2 tight ends.
Yes. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Sometimes you just get rolling. You know, I forget not everybody knows what 12 personnel is, 11, 21. We'll get there.
Yeah, all of our discussions with this group, graduate level football chats. Aguilar wants to throw. He escapes a pocket and dives to the goal line. It's a rushing touchdown for Joey Aguilar, his 3rd of the season. And we're less than 16 minutes into this game, and Tennessee's already put up 27 points.
Watch the knee of Joey Aguilar here. Where's the ball? Ooh, that might be
a hair short.
Might be a hair short there. A horsehair. Keelan was going off today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Today's the last day of it.
Oh, yeah, I think that's going to be about.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under video review.
Aguilar there. He was trying to avoid a big hit, so tried to kind of go down and lunge his way into the end zone. I tell you, Aguilar's bigger than I thought. When you watch him on film, it's hard to tell. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. I went and shook his hand down there. I was like, wow, that's
good grip.
That's a whole man there. Yeah, no, big hands, big grip.
All right, the pylon cam, we've got a little bit of a blur, so I'm not certain that the nose didn't break the plane. It just has to get over that front edge, as you said, by a horsehair. But I'm curious, if you're Josh Heupel, if you don't get this, you punch it in on 4th down and just drop the hammer?
Absolutely. Your defense has controlled this game so far, except for the one explosive play to Kendrick Law. This is a team that needs to run the table to realize their college football playoff dreams once again this year after making it last year. Again, with those 2 losses, still everything in front of them.
After video review, the runner's left knee was down with the ball just short of the goal line. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to send the offense back out there. You got QB sneak, or do you go with Deshaun Bishop?
I'll tell you what, I love a quarterback sneak from the 4-inch yard line.
Oh, an inch yard line now.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally
Triangle Square Park.
How does that work?
So, Jordan's mad at us now. 4th and goal. Let's see where they run behind.
So they take that up back and put a little sprinter stance in the A gap sometimes for that quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
Sam Pendleton is the center. Bishop is the tailback. They've loaded it up with 2 tight ends in the backfield. Bishop, left side, he's in. A 4th down conversion on the goal line, something Kentucky did not get last week against Texas, and Tennessee does it here in the 2nd quarter to cap what was a quick drive after the fumble recovery.
Boy, look at the big boys all getting low, 4-point stances. It looked like it was going to be quarterback sneak by the posture of those interior offensive linemen, and just went off tackle with 2 tight ends lead blocking there for Deshaun Bishop. And a hammer of a drive there from Tennessee.
8th touchdown of the season for Bishop. That was a drive that started at the Kentucky 6. Let's learn about pull protection.
Well, it's essentially gap scheme run, but you're going play action off of it. You see Winamo 75, the left guard pulling out to his right. Right there, and you'll see him here again. Left coming right to left on your screen. You're showing basically like it's going to be counter or power. So as Jordan said earlier in the broadcast, you want to freeze those linebackers and safeties. You get a pulling guard, you're usually reading that as run. The difficulty comes in 2 spots, though, fellas. There's a block back from the center and guard. That is essentially going to open up space to the area that they're blocking back in front of. So instead of blocking back at the ear hole of that defender, you have to cross his face. You want to actually get in front of that defender. Now, you don't do that on a gap scheme run because they can come in front of you the opposite direction. If you close that off, then you have the pulling guard who's usually coming out in space. When I talked to Glenn Ellerby about it before the game, the offensive line coach from Tennessee, I said, you're putting a guy one-on-one in space with these edge rushers in this league? He said, I know. That's why we spent so much time on it this offseason, but it's been great for the Vols this year.
Cole is about as enamored with pull protection as I am ordering fish on Friday night. So, Cole, after watching Tennessee and what they've accomplished so far, you understand it better? You coming around?
100%. And as I told Joey Halsey last night, you're doing some kind of basketball deal. I don't even know what that was about, but I guess that's more important than us. He kind of lit up when he wanted to talk about it, and I said, Coach, full disclosure, I can't stand it because of the pressure it puts on your offensive line, the difficulties that are going to be there. It almost sets you up for failure. And he said, listen, I get it. I know. I understand. He said, that's why we basically spent the entire offseason on it. We went and talked to NFL teams. We talked to other college teams. We talked to people that do it more than we do. But we knew, and Jordan can expound on this just a little bit more, we had to have it because of how people were playing us. And they were getting a lot of drop 8, and this was a way to utilize bigger personnel to find space over the middle of the field.
Kentucky beat #1 Purdue on the hardwood last night, since you're so inclined. Here's Dante Dowdell. And by the way, tomorrow night on ESPN2, Tennessee plays host to Duke at Food City Arena. I'll be there with Jimmy Dykes.
Can I tell you something, and maybe everyone sitting on the couch, they may not know either? There's a difference between play action and run action. Play action is really just the quarterback and running back selling run, while the offensive line, pass protection. Run action is the offensive line actually running a play that looks like a run to pass protect. So there's a big difference. It affects the defense more.
Off left tackle this time.
But lazily, everybody usually just calls it all the same play action. But there is a distinct difference with the offensive line and how you sell run or pass.
Jordan's right, because there'll be certain teams that I will watch on film, not many in this league, and you'll see the offensive line taking a pass set, and that quarterback puts the ball in the belly of the running back.
You
it's
ain't
like,
fooling anybody.
what are you doing? Like, you don't even know why they do it sometimes.
Kentucky's biggest play of the night of the season was the 71-yard completion to Kendrick Law. He's got the pink hand warmer around his waist, top of the formation. Boley looking for him. Instead goes to the seam down the sideline and is caught by DJ Miller, and he takes it to the house. 56-yard strike with Law playing the decoy.
Boy, that was great recognition at the line of scrimmage. True freshman DJ Miller is going to be matched up against Boo Carter. Anytime you got press in the slot, you got a lot of room for a receiver. See all the room on the outside there? Room to work. Didn't need it, though. A great ball right on target by Cutter Boley. Remember, he had one-on-one coverage earlier, threw it out of bounds.
Right.
I was just like, hey, leave it on the field. Great job responding there, correcting a mistake we just saw a couple drives ago.
First career touchdown for Miller, true freshman out of Cardinal Ritter High School in St. Louis, Missouri. Kentucky has halved the lead. Boley has hit on a couple of deep passes to put Kentucky on the scoreboard. One from 71 and that one from 56. We got a new game in Lexington.
All alongside this 121st border battle with that orange team to the south. There's never a bad time to be in Lexington, but this weekend feels like the best time.
Yeah, Keeneland in the fall or the spring, if that's your flavor, coupled with some Kentucky football at night, made for a great weekend. I knew it was going to be a busy week on our flight up on Thursday. Our director, Brad Wilson, who's usually sitting in seat 1A, was back by the Blue Water. It was packed with all the horse people coming to town.
Where was your seat?
Just in front of him.
30 rows in front?
Yes. Yeah, I was back there. Peyton Lewis, sophomore from Salem, Virginia. Have a chance to return if he wants it. Here he is from the 3. Got a seam on the outside. Still stutter step. And he okey-dokes his way out towards the 32-yard line. Tennessee's offense humming right along. They took a sack in their second possession. That's really the only time they went backwards. 5 drives, 3 offensive touchdowns, and a pick 6.
And we'll see if Kentucky and Brad White, the defensive coordinator, want to adjust this defensive style a little bit, because Kentucky is primarily a one-high team, which means they have one safety in the middle of the field, which also means the spacing for Tennessee, you're going to have one-on-one matchups on the outside. That's where Tennessee has been exploiting those one-on-one matchups. Now you see they're going to come out with 2 safeties. So they're going to play a little more too-high zone to try to take away some of those explosives. You see a shell coverage to open this drive.
And so they run it. I thought it was really interesting when Joey Halsley broke down what this offense was in 22 that led the nation in just about everything. Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker. And then teams started playing drop 8. And he said, so we then had to adjust to their adjustment. So, as he put it, we broke out the pen. And we now have to create our explosives. And there's one on a completion over the middle. That's Radarius Jackson. And I feel like now with this offense, with Halsley, what Heupel does, now the Rabbits got the gun.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, the last couple years, teams have just been drop 8. They're saying, okay, we're going to keep everything in front of us. And then that's when the run game takes off. And you lead the country in rushing last year. But I love this from Joey Halsley. He's like, we had a choice. Are we going to be okay with teams taking away our explosive plays through the air? Or are we going to do something about it? And so at the end of last year, they decided to do something about it. And the difference is, you see, we've already talked about it a little bit, the pull protection, the run action to try to steal eyes and get more people around the box, and condense sets like this right here. See the spacing? Much different than the wide spacing you're used to seeing from Tennessee.
Aguilar on the run. Now we'll tuck it. There's a flag way back at midfield after Aguilar is already outside of the pocket.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That's a freshman, David Sanders Jr. Cole, what can a young offensive lineman learn about being behind the play?
Well, you got to understand that first and foremost, get your hands off the defender when he's trying to release. Go the play. Looks like his hands outside the framework right there, and just have to kind of let him go. I didn't really see a hold there on that specific play, but I didn't have the same angle as the official. Didn't like the call.
Has Cole ever agreed with a holding call?
No, he doesn't like receivers blocking, and no offensive lineman has ever held in the history of football.
Here's 2nd and 17, and Kentucky with a tackle after gain of 1. Sam Green, transfer from Southern Cal, leads the way. Sanders was injured for the first half of the season, didn't play in the first 4 games. First true freshman to start on the O-line since 2019. Remember, Trey Smith had 12 starts there at 17 before becoming a Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Decent player.
Not bad.
Tennessee reducing these splits down here.
4-man rush. Aguilar too high, and then a pop after. Tennessee wanted a flag on a late hit, and they won't get it.
So the reason they condensed their stats, their formation there, is for this route right here. You want to run these guys off, and you want to throw this right there. And Joey Aguilar just misses him. He has Mike Matthews wide open there for what could have been a catch and run, a possible first down. Just didn't see him.
Why didn't you use the arrows on your draw?
Should I use the arrows there?
Yeah, I would be a fan. Jackson Ross, 26-year-old Tennessee punter. Had a pretty good Aussie here a few years ago. Max Duffy won the Ray Guy Award. There's a flag immediately as Jamori Macklin took it out of bounds after a 42-yard punt, 5 on the return.
Tom, I knew I was going to draw a circle at some point, so you can't have the arrow tool up and draw a circle. It looks funky. But I'll try to fix my tele draws for you.
Circle gets the square.
I don't even know what that means.
You've never seen Hollywood squares?
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 21. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down.
I feel like that would have been right up your alley. You're an old soul. 2-touchdown lead for Tennessee. We're only 5 minutes into the second quarter. Going to be a late night in Lex. Missouri lost in a Hail Mary.
Almost won it, or almost tied the game there at the end. Alabama and South Carolina was back and forth forever. Bama had to tie it up late and eventually scored to win that one. Texas went down the wire with Mississippi State, won in overtime.
Cole, it looks like Auburn's got a new quarterback. They won at Arkansas by 9.
Well, Hugh Freeze told us last week, Ashton Daniels, there was a good chance he was going to make it in. He did not. Comes out second half for Auburn, led that offense to a victory over Arkansas, and looked pretty good doing it. So had a little bit better feel for the passing game and keep some of the mobility with Ashton Daniels.
We were just a week early on that.
Week early for next week.
Yeah, we'll be down on the plains. Bully from the end zone hands it off. Nate Dowdell picks up a yard. Second FBS quarterback with multiple 50-yard passing touchdowns in a game against a top 25 opponent. Joey Aguilar did it against Georgia in that thriller in Neyland Stadium earlier this year.
When every coach we talked to mentioned just the laid-back personality of Cutter Boley. Nothing phases him, and so far he's done a good job of responding to adversity early in this game.
Physical run game. Dowdell, junior from Picayune, Mississippi, played at both Nebraska and Oregon.
Well, I'll give you something a little advanced that Cutter Boley is using to his advantage right there. You saw sort of the fake clap and then the double clap. They've done multiple clap sequences for the snap count in this Kentucky offense. But what you got there was a little bit of a nudge from Bryson Eason on the first clap. So he kind of showed the slant that he was going to make. That's a big advantage for an offensive lineman, knowing if a guy's going to cross your face, and it led to positive yards.
David Hobbs replaces Eason on this third down. 4-man rush. Boley will take off, looking for a block. Instead, he gets sandwiched, but picked up the first down. Edwin Spillman, coming off of a 6-tackle performance against Bama, had to stop.
Watch the overload. You're going to get 3 guys to this side, and that's going to open up the rush lane here for Cutter Boley. I love the quick decision that he made. An uneven pass rush. Window opens up. Great. Use your athleticism. Pick up the first down.
Slide protection can work.
Should I use arrows on that one?
You should have. You should have. I'm still critiquing. First third down conversion for either side tonight. Beautiful vision and a cutback by Jason Patterson. He's got a first down and a gain of 18.
It's a great job of climbing up and helping out from Josh Caddis there. One of the tight ends that's banged up. Playing hurt today, but gutting it out.
And they got Davin Hobbs to jump a little bit again with that fake clap, extra clap, sort of showed you which direction he was going to go. Big assistance for that offensive line in the run game.
Law in motion. Back to the ground game. Cole, what's your take on Kentucky's O-line this year?
I think that they have been a little bit up and down, but they've been more consistent here in the last couple of games. The problem is, Tom, every offensive line has to have an identity. What will you allow us to do? There have been certain offensive lines in this league the last couple of years where the fans will just say, well, they can't run block. Well, when you go out there and try to run block 10 times a game, you're probably not going to be able to. So I think they're allowing this group to sort of fit into what they do best, and they've improved here as of late.
On 2nd and 7, here comes the house. Boley leaves the pocket and nearly picked off. It was off the hand of Ty Redden. Edwin Spillman brought the pressure on Boley.
This is an area where a young quarterback, this happened a couple times. Anytime you get blitz, you got to know where your hot routes are. And when they bring too many, where's your quick outlet? They're going to bring two here. You got to throw this hot route right here really fast. Instead of scrambling, you know those guys trigger. You know you don't have enough numbers. Just get the ball out of your hands instead of using your legs on that one.
Everyone at home saw the arrows and loved them.
Yeah, I thought it was a great addition. You're welcome.
Dowdell back in the backfield. 3rd down and a timeout asked for by Josh Heupel. Boley's hit some big plays.
Tennessee.
He's the first Kentucky quarterback with multiple 50-yard passing touchdowns in an SEC game since Patrick Tolles did it in 2014 against then #1 Mississippi State. 3rd down 7 when we return for Cutter Boley.
Get the ball to Kendrick Law. Let your playmakers do the work. Don't let this Tennessee defensive front take over the game. This was another great one in RPO. Getting the ball out quick as Tennessee brings pressure. Find your one-on-one matchup. True freshman DJ Miller. So far tonight, that's been the trend, and it's worked really well for Cutter Boley. Going to need to do that again here on 3rd and 7 with Tennessee showing pressure.
Cats 1 for 5 on 3rd down tonight. 5-man rush. Boley gets rid of it. This is J.J. Hester, and he picks up the first down. Mouthpiece came pop it off. It's a pickup of 13 when they needed 7.
Boy, J.J. Hester's a guy I have wanted to see get involved in this offense since they announced he transferred in from Oklahoma. Big body. Great job again of Cutter Boley getting the ball out quickly, but J.J. Hester is 6'5", 203. They don't really have that body type, and that's one reason we're seeing DJ Miller 6'3". They got a lot of smaller, fast guys. A big physical body on the outside is something they've been missing. JJ Hester is a guy hopefully they can start to lean on, along with DJ Miller, the young true freshman.
He was really banged up the last 2 seasons in Norman. Yeah. Foot injury 2 years ago. That clap provided a hesitation and may have resulted in a false start. Looked like the right side of the line. Nope, that'll be on Tennessee.
Offside, defense, number 31, in the neutral zone at the time of the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's his second on Caleb Herring.
Well, watch Cutter here really working this silent cadence. Some fake claps, then the double clap to trigger it, and obviously Herring jumped on the first clap. And it's like you're at a wedding and everybody clap you. That comes on, you know, and everybody just starts clapping. You know that one?
Yeah, I know that one.
I like that song. That and Shout. That'll just really get you going.
I don't remember them playing Shout at your wedding.
Did they not?
No, I don't think so.
That's
a fail.
That's a fail. You know what it is? Our wedding planner had to take over the DJ. The DJ was terrible early. She just came to us and said, hey, just so you know, I'm going to take over the music. We're like, hey, you go for it, girl.
That's when you're versatile.
Yeah.
I tried that at my sister-in-law's wedding and almost got kicked out of the family.
Yeah, because you're playing 90s rap and nobody could dance to it. So second down. This will be the 9th play of the drive for Cutter Bully, who grew up a Kentucky fan. Ended his high school career just down the road at Lexington Christian. And he hands it off. Tennessee all over. Jason Patterson has nowhere to go.
Boy, even though Kentucky has hit a couple big plays against man coverage, Tennessee continues to challenge on the outside. And that was something that, talking to Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, yesterday about this defense, he said, look, that's who we want to be. We haven't really been able to be that because of the injuries we've had at the second level. Excuse me, on the outside, but Colton Hood's playing really well, and you can obviously tell he trusts Ty Redmond, the true freshman, a lot more every game that goes by to be physical at the line of scrimmage playing man.
4-man rush. Bully sneaks it out of there. This is a first down catch and run by Jason Patterson inside the 30. Patterson only had 27 touches coming into this game. He's been a featured player for the Cats this evening. Clock rolling. Will approach 4 minutes in the first half after a 28-point opening quarter. Cats trying to fight their way back in. Law out to the left. Here's Patterson again. Swallowed up. Won't get back to the line. Spillman and Weathersby in on the stop for Tennessee. What about this drive? This will be the 12th snap of this drive for Cutter Bully in Kentucky. "13 consecutive games with 2 or fewer offensive touchdowns for Kentucky against power opponents." Bully leaves the pocket. Flag down, and he fires it incomplete. It's a Kentucky program that's lost 9 straight SEC home games.
That's it. Holding. Offense. Number 62. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
It's Jagger Burton, the center.
Yeah, it's really tough call on Jagger because protection was really good. I mean, Cutter had all day sitting back there. They're trying to hit a little wheel route to Kendrick Law down the sideline. Nothing there. Really good coverage. And by the time he escaped, Jagger just got his left hand caught on the outside of Bryson Eason. That'll back them up in the second and really long.
61 yards of penalties for Kentucky tonight. Bully goes to Patterson out of the backfield. Leaves 3rd down 9. Last time Kentucky knocked off a conference team at home, September of 23, Ray Davis went for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns in a win against Florida. That put him at 5-0 going into the Georgia game. Things were running smooth for Mark Stoops and company. They've had a hard time replicating that success. Last year was a disaster of a season.
All right, Bully's got to know where his hot option is. Where's your quick option if Tennessee brings pressure?
And they do. And he dumps it to Dowdell, and Dowdell tripped up. He'll be just short. Kentucky went for it a handful of times on 4th down last week against Texas, including in overtime.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer here. You go for it. The momentum of this drive, you got to capitalize on it. That was another really good job by Bully of realizing they dropped out 2 guys, so you had protection, went through his normal progression, checked it down to set up this 4th and really manageable at about 1 yard.
So they'll get a chance to break it down. Tennessee will have that same opportunity. We'll see if they change their mind. It's a 2-touchdown deficit for Kentucky. 4th and 1 after this 2-minute timeout in Lexington in this rivalry game as they meet for the 121st time. All right, gentlemen, thanks. You we've got a lot to recap today. All these teams still in the playoff hunt as we approach Halloween next week. What are you going at?
For Halloween?
Yeah.
You.
Good luck. All right, 4th and 1. What do you run?
Well, remember, in overtime last week, Kentucky struggled at the 3-yard line of getting bigger and pushing bodies around. So they're in 12 personnel, 2 tight ends in the game. These tight ends look like they're splitting out. So maybe not going to try to get really big and just push you over the line. Wonder if they use Cutter Boley's legs here.
4th and 11 on 4th down this season. Dante Dowdell is the running back. Trying to keep this drive alive. 14th play of the possession, and now they'll get big.
Oh, quarterback sneak. Yep.
Oh, they hit the edge. They do it with Kendrick Law, and he's got a beautiful spin move down to the 5-yard line. 14-yard pickup. Bush Hamden into his bag of tricks.
You know what I love? Cutter Boley. Watch his stance. See that back leg? That's what a quarterback does when they're ready to drive off for a quarterback sneak. So he really sold that to everybody. Got down in that stance like he was about to just take the snap, lean forward. Instead, the jet sweep. Great call by Bush Hamden to get your playmaker the ball in space when everybody was thinking sneak.
8.5 minutes and counting on this drive for Kentucky. Boley lowers his shoulder. Gets down to about the 2.
That was such a subtle sell. You can always tell when a quarterback's going to go sneak because they start to put one foot back really far to get ready to drive forward, right? You hardly ever see that for a jet sweep because you got to get that leg out of the way.
Timeout.
And don't you think that's something that they worked on after the 4th down failures last week?
No doubt. No doubt. And a couple times already this year they've sneaked it with Boley with that same kind of posture. So when the defense sees that, now they're thinking, okay, let's get in tight. Let's get in tight. And then you get on the outside of them with Kendrick Law. It was a great call.
How much do you learn as a team or as a quarterback when you experience failure versus if those 4th downs would have worked last week?
A ton. I mean, we talked to Bush Hamden. He said, look, I made the first mistake on 3rd down by getting heavy from the on 1st down from the 3-yard line. That was the first mistake. And we kind of realized that maybe we're not good enough just to get big and push around an SEC defensive front. So learned his lesson and made a great call on that one to pick up the 1st down.
The other part of it that we talked to Mark Stoops about is he had decided that they were in 4-down territory after the 3rd down play.
Yeah.
If they would have made that decision 1st and goal from the 3, Hamden would have had a lot more to work with.
No doubt. Yeah, I love watching this offense week over week because you have a young quarterback. You have an offensive coordinator in Bush Hamden that's got a diverse background of offensive philosophy, and he's kind of piecing together parts of the run game, parts of the throw game, the quick game that Cutter is comfortable with, and you're seeing a completely new identity here from this Kentucky offense.
They've outgained Tennessee 173-26 in the 2nd quarter. But then again, they outgained Texas by a ton last week and lost. Boley had somebody wide open, and he delivers back in the end zone for the score to J.J. Hester. He had multiple options. That caps a 16-play, 96-yard drive. It ate up more than 8.5 minutes.
What an answer by Cutter Boley. Redshirt freshman quarterback is showing some resolve and some confidence coming from behind a few times here already in this 1st half.
Boley goes 5 of 6 on the drive, 55 yards. Cole.
You mentioned the deception of Cutter Boley's legs. Watch the center here, Jagger Burton. Guys, he's going to turn to his left guard. So to the right on your screen, he's going to kind of wave him down, say, get on down here in this double team with me, man. When he does that, that's just telling that defensive line, this is going to be a quarterback sneak. We're going to try to get a little bit of push here. Just going a little bit further to what Jordan said on that 4th down deception to be able to convert and then obviously score on this play.
And then great protection here on the touchdown throw. You saw it as I did, Tom. Tight end wide open by himself on the other side of the field. So it's a really good thing that J.J. Hester came down with that one in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, Josh Caddis, there's nobody within 10 yards of him.
Wide open.
2 or 3 times now that Kentucky's found themselves down 2 scores and led a touchdown drive.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive from an offense that's kind of had a little bit of a roller coaster ride so far this season. Have had good moments, mostly been inconsistent so far tonight. Aside from the 2 turnovers, have looked really well.
Yeah, that's what Benjamin Watson said in the studio, and he's all over it, as you are. It's a touchdown game now. Tennessee with 14 points off those turnovers. Mark Stoops' offense has arrived. .137 left in the first half. Special teams undid Kentucky against Texas. Couple big punt returns. No return on this kickoff. And so Joey Aguilar back to work. Aguilar 9 of 11 for 146. He took a sack on the second possession. Otherwise, the offensive line has held.
Minute 37, 1 timeout. So you're in a 2-minute situation here. Still a lot of time to work with for an offense that's used to going breakneck speed.
It's been 28 minutes since Tennessee has had possession. And he hands it off. Deshaun Bishop, former walk-on, picks up 4.
Boy, just 22 rushing yards in this first half for Tennessee. Obviously, they've had a couple big explosive plays. Now Kentucky playing much softer coverage on the outside.
Ball's pushing the tempo a little bit. They find a soft spot in the zone for a first down on the completion of Mike Matthews. Fresh set of downs for Aguilar. Over the middle again, and good coverage. Leaves it incomplete. Rashid Scott was all over Braylon Staley.
Yeah, Scott did a really good job there of not coming through Braylon Staley, but getting his left hand around him to break up that ball and not draw the flag.
It is a chilly night. Rain is falling. Typical Tennessee-Kentucky weather. In a rivalry that began in 1893. Aguilar gets rid of it to the edge. They got an advantage. Here's Staley. Taken down inbounds. Volunteers have 1 timeout remaining. Under a minute to play and a half. Aguilar taking his time. They're down 2. To the ground game, and a first down run by Bishop.
Still not using that timeout. Clock starts running again.
31 seconds at the snap. Aguilar avoids pressure. Tries to turn the corner and gets out of bounds. Clock stops with 23 seconds left.
And now you're at about the 47-yard line. Well, you'd like to get 15 to 18 more yards here or so to give yourself a manageable field goal before half.
Max Gilbert's long is 53, but in this game last year, he went 0 for 4 in field goals. Second and 6, 4-man rush. Swing out, incomplete. Trying to find Bishop. 19 seconds left and 3rd down. This second quarter has given the Kentucky fan base some life. This game was on its way to Uglytown. Tennessee jumped out to a massive lead and had all the momentum.
That's where you got to be really careful with the football. If you're Joey Aguilar, don't force it.
On 3rd and 6, he fits it in to Ethan Davis for the first down.
That's a great job. Again, still that timeout in your pocket. Closer to field goal range. I think you still need 7-8 yards at least to give you a 47, 48 yarder.
Timeout used by Kentucky.
Timeout, Kentucky. They're first of the half. 30 seconds in length.
How about a recap?
Well, it was fireworks early from this Tennessee team. Joey Aguilar finding Chris Brazzell deep, and then the first of 2 mistakes from this Kentucky offense, the pick 6. But then the answer from Kendrick Law, a couple explosive plays at a #1 tonight. None bigger than that one for a 74-yard touchdown. And then Boley to the true freshman, DJ Miller, for yet another answer. And again, finding J.J. Hester over the middle. Time and time again, Cutter Boley has fought this team back within a score. And now it's Joey Aguilar's turn here to try to pick up, again, like I said, 7-8 yards or so with a timeout in their pocket. Try to see if they can get a field goal here before half.
Tennessee led this game 28-7 in a series that the Volunteers have dominated, having won 4 straight, 37-40. Kentucky won the toss but deferred, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. Aguilar 12 of 16. Lets it go. Caught! First down catch by Braylon Staley. 10 seconds left in the half. Volunteers have a timeout. They could also spike it.
Or you could take a little shot to the end zone here if you want to throw a jump ball. Your guy or no one.
And a timeout taken by Kentucky.
Timeout, Kentucky. They're second at the half.
Into the half
30
against
seconds in
Alabama
length.
last week. Similar situation, knocking on the door.
Very
Pick 6
true.
changed the game.
Yeah, this was the mistake that started to unravel the game. Instead of cutting the lead, you extended. Huge swing play there with the interception. The mistake by Joey Aguilar, just underthrew that one. I don't think he ever even saw Brown underneath in coverage. Again, that's been part of Joey Aguilar's MO, right? Last year with App State, led the FBS with 14 interceptions. I think he's thrown 6 in his last 5 games here. So as many times as you get the wow plays and the wow moments, there are those times that the confidence will take over. He'll force a football, maybe when he doesn't need to, into a tight coverage. So he's got to protect the football here if indeed Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley want to try to run one play in hopes of getting 6 before they settle for a field goal.
It's a crazy game of momentum. They gave it up last week at the end of the half, and then in this one tonight, Kentucky seized the momentum despite trailing 28-7 with a long last drive. Both teams have one timeout left. Kentucky overloads the left side. Aguilar has time to the end zone. Touchdown. Ethan Davis got free. What an answer. First touchdown for Ethan Davis. And it caps a 10-play, 75-yard drive.
Well, a great strike from Joey Aguilar against zone coverage, but it was the play that set it up. Getting hit, finding Staley downfield, and then again, you got 2 high coverage. Where's the place to attack it? Down the middle of the field between the zone defenders underneath, and he finds Ethan Davis for the touchdown. They're glad to have him back from injury.
Point after is good. Tennessee leads the nation with 30-point first halves. It's their 4th such performance, and for Aguilar, he goes over the 200-yard mark for the 32nd consecutive game. That's the longest streak in the FBS.
it was fun talking to Joey Halsley about the recruitment process. I'm going to put air quotes around that because in the chaos of Nico and the drama there leaving, he said he had one day to look at Joey Aguilar's tape and decide, is he the guy or not?
Right.
Talk about a stressful situation, pushing all your chips into the table, banking on a kid from App State as you're breaking down the film. But he loved the intangibles he saw, loved the fact that he had started 24 games in his career to that point. So an experienced quarterback with the tools that Joey Halsley felt he could shape to fit this offense, and he did it well.
Devil's in the details. In fact, Aguilar, when he went playing football, it opened up a mobile car washing business with his dad. Family and friends convinced him to give football another shot, and the Tennessee fan base thrilled that he did. It's a touchback. 5 seconds left in the half.
The kick resulted in a touchback. First and 10 at the 25.
Tom, how wild was it when we met with Joey Aguilar and I asked him, how close were you to the end? The football was over, and he essentially said, I was there, man. Like, we were looking at what was next and thinking about possibilities, and obviously got that opportunity to be able to go on and play football at App State, and that led to him being at UCLA for a minute and then here at Tennessee. But crazy to think that he was that far down that road mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, 19 was a gray shirt year at junior college. He was riding BART train 90 minutes to get from Antioch to his junior college, and then COVID hit. He was out of football for another year. Why not give it one more shot? They've already cleared the over in the first half. What a half of football. 35-21, 56 combined points for Tennessee and Kentucky. And every time Kentucky has strung something together, Joey Aguilar and the Tennessee offense has had an answer. 14.
It's been Cutter Boley in his arm. The one blemish was the interception, which really wasn't even a bad decision. It was just a better play by the Tennessee defenders. So I have a feeling this second half is going to go much like the first, blow for blow. Who then can get an interception, a fumble, a turnover in this second half? Because both these offenses look poised to pick up right where they left off in the first half.
Boley came in averaging 177 yards a game. He's already passed his average in just one half. Big chunk of that coming on the 71-yard catch and run to Kendrick Law. No return for Kentucky. Cole, you had a chance to talk with Mark Stoops. How did he break down the first half?
He was actually pleased with the offense. He said defensively there are still some bad matchups that we're going to run into. He said we try to protect some of the guys on the perimeter, and then we continue to get hit over the middle of the field. Felt really good about Cutter Boley, what he did, how he managed things, specifically that snap count we discussed. Guys said he's doing a great job with that. He said we just have to hold on to the football, and we feel pretty confident what our offense is going to be able to do. Seth McGowan ruled out for the game. Coach Stoops reaffirmed that with me as well.
Well, it was a huge second quarter for the Kentucky offense, scoring 14 points, 176 yards. That was after 2 turnovers in the opening quarter. Here's a screen at Jason Patterson, and Tennessee defended it well. Edwin Spillman getting some more run tonight with Arion Carter out with a foot injury.
And remember, 2 linebackers out for Tennessee on that second level. Obviously, Arion Carter, leading tackler Ben Bolton, reserve linebacker out as well. So Spillman and Jeremiah Thielen are doing a really good job holding that second level down. Kentucky has struggled to get the run game going as of late.
Thought they had it there, but that hole closed quickly. There's Thielander in on the stop, and he'll come off the field on 3rd down.
And a lot of times we overhype halftime adjustments, right? Most of the time you just get in there, grab something to eat real quick, get some hydration, maybe talk to your coach, but who actually on defense is going to make an adjustment? Tennessee leaned on the pressure early, and Boley made them pay, playing a lot more coverage here to open the second half.
4-man rush. Boley gets out of the pocket on the run, completes it to Kendrick Law, who reverses field, somehow got out of the tackle and takes it inside the 40. It turns into a 32-yard gain for Law.
Oh, it's a great job by Cutter Boley. He's going to get outside the pocket just a little bit as he's reading through this progression. And watch Jackson Moy. Whoop! See ya. God, the pump fake gets him every time.
Does indeed. What an effort by Law, the Alabama transfer, who started his college career at Tuscaloosa as kind of a special teams guy, kick returner. Hybrid type performer. Now he is wide receiver all the way. And he's over the century mark on just 2 catches tonight. Once again, that clap keeping Tennessee off balance. And there's a flag that comes in late after the completion to Jamori Macklin.
Yeah, they're going to get Joshua Josephs on a jump.
Holding. Offense. Number 81. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
I stand corrected.
Tight end Willie Rodriguez. But Cole, you talked about this clap in the first half. Why does it make it so hard? I feel like everybody does it.
Well, he's been faking claps, so you'll see him kind of give the fake clap, and he'll do the hand motion, and then they'll go on the second or third clap at times also. So he's giving you a fake clap where he's actually clapping, but it doesn't count as the snap count. So he's just really mixing it up and doing a lot of different things. This is a hyper-aggressive Tennessee defense. They like to get upfield and penetrate, so you're trying to go out of your way to slow that down. And for a younger quarterback, he's doing a great job with it tonight.
Oh, I did not see a hold on Willie Rodriguez.
No, it might have been on Joshua Braun, but not on Rodriguez there.
2nd and 20. Boley weaves his way through and then goes down with a slide and took a hit. Slide started at the 43. Spillman came in on him.
You can see Boley trying to get down here late. Spillman just goes over the top of him. That's another one where Boley had an opportunity to dump the ball down to Hardly Gilmore on a crossing route, completely unguarded. Still made a great decision to take off with his legs, but man, another opportunity to get the ball out of his hands instead of taking off and scrambling.
They're down 14. Law in motion on a crosser. They jump it out to Patterson. That is well defended and nowhere to go. Tennessee seems to be hyper vigilant when it comes to the Kentucky screen game, even when they don't run it.
Yeah, you know that's going to be a plan for Kentucky on offense, whether it's a screen to the running backs or getting Kendrick Law involved in a screen. Utley that time just read it the entire way. It's always a fine balance for the offensive lineman because you know you got to get out, but you also don't want to just let that guy run by you because then it allows the defense to read it the whole way, and it's going to be a punt for Kentucky on their opening drive.
Carter signaled fair catch. That one sailed all the way over the cheerleaders. We'll see where they mark that one. Joey Aguilar going back to work. Tennessee with a 2-touchdown lead.
Protection that Tennessee spent the entire offseason trying to perfect. Both explosive plays came from it. You'll get a pulling guard. He's got to worry about anything coming off the edge right there. So a lot of space he has to close up on. And then center Sam Pendleton's going to close down both of these gaps with his left tackle. So they have to squeeze both of those gaps. Penetration easy to leak through there. Doesn't on this play. They do an excellent job protecting, but you can see that pulling guard, all the space he has to create there, and then closing those two gaps. Very difficult for a defense that's aggressive, either blitzing or slanting into that. Tennessee's done a great job with it tonight, but getting 2 explosives also, guys.
Definitely high risk, high reward. You can steal eyes, but also, like Cole pointed out, easy to open up gaps to allow penetration for the defense.
Completion on the perimeter to Matthews as Aguilar threads the needle. Leaves 2nd down 2. Pressure from the edge. Aguilar lets it go deep again. This time left sideline. Caught. Touchdown. Matthews. 62 yards. To Joey Aguilar, Hendon Hooker back there.
Frustrated look from Mark Stoops as once again hole protection leads to a big explosive play downfield. The run action shot plays have been money for Tennessee tonight.
Here's Max Gilbert. And it's a 21-point lead for the second time tonight for Tennessee.
But watch the run action. Not that guy. This guy actually going to get the pull. It's going to get these defenders to step up, and then it's Aguilar's eyes that are going to move the safety. And then he knows he's got one-on-one coverage backside to Mike Matthews, and that's about as far as Joey can throw it. He goes one-on-one. I'm just going to throw it down there. Mike's going to make a play.
Did you just drop a vision cone on the telestrator?
I did. I feel like that was a high-level draw there. A lot was going on, but it was the run action to suck up those second-level players, and then Joey knowing I got to move that high safety to one side because I want to work my one-on-one backside to Mike Matthews. And 4 throws of 20-plus tonight, and that's significant because against Alabama last week, they didn't even attempt one of 20-plus downfield. Alabama playing a lot of soft coverage, couldn't hit those explosive plays downfield. And tonight, they got it in spades.
Third 100-yard game of the season for Matthews, who also did it in the close win in Starkville and at home against ETSU.
And you saw a little bit of a different version of how the pulling guard had to protect their Wendell Moy. When he came out, that edge rusher was upfield, so he just had to run him past the quarterback, and that allowed Joey Aguilar to be able to step up and make that throw. An excellent job. I think all 4 of those explosives have come off pull protection today.
I'm pretty sure they have.
Cole has turned over a new leaf. He now likes.
Yeah, Cole, you were real salty on that. You know, we talked about it a couple days ago.
I'm not going to say that I like it, but when you get an offensive coordinator tell me he spent an entire offseason trying to perfect it and working with his guys, I'm going to allow it a little bit more for sure.
Yeah, leaned on Hendon Hooker a little bit the offseason as well, picking his brain about what they did in Detroit with a lot of the run action looks as well.
Here's DJ Miller, shook a guy. Yeah, they used every resource they had with NFL teams. The Haslams with the Browns. Dustin Colquitt has spent forever with the Chiefs, now on the staff with Tennessee, and Hendon Hooker with the Lions.
I'm more impressed that there's not a Colquitt punting for Tennessee.
Probably another one coming. They punt in their onesies in that family. Straight ahead after the window dressing, and Dowdell picks up a first down. Well, Kentucky's defense has had a hard time slowing down Tennessee tonight, but the offense has found another gear.
Yeah, the variation, I think, has been fantastic. Bush Hampton's done a great job of setting plays up. I said this in the week. I felt the offense was a little disjointed because I felt like they wanted to run the football at a 12 personnel, heavy sets, and then they'd get 4 and 5 wide to help Cutter out. This week, a lot more cohesiveness between the run, the pass. Bush Hampton has this thing rolling right now. It's just their defense is just not stopping anybody. That's the problem.
Is that simply finding your identity?
Yeah, I think the last couple of weeks they realized, okay, Cutter's really good at quick game. He likes 4 and 5 wide because he can see it really clearly, but you know, we don't really run that well out of that.
Yeah.
So it takes a couple weeks to go, okay, how can we get in and out of things that our quarterback does well but still complement the run game and the play action and getting Kendrick Law involved? Offense is complicated. Sometimes it takes a few weeks to get a game plan together that you feel really good about when you got a new quarterback.
Right, here's Patterson. And remember, not just a new quarterback, but new quarterback in season, because they went in the portal. They got Zach Calzada. They thought they're getting one thing. Calzada gets injured. Boley gets pressed into action, and then it's a matter of getting to the bye week to figure out, hey, let's self-scout. What is he and what are we best at? And then last week against Texas, and nearly 400 yards of offense and 26 first downs. And Cole asked Mark Stoops, he said, you don't really look like the Kentucky teams of old, getting away from some of your black and blue identity. He said, if we get 26 first downs, I don't care how we do it. Double pass coming. Law lets it fly, and he was juiced up for that one. Overshot Willie Rodriguez by 15 yards.
That's what a 400-pound bencher will do at wide receiver, trying to throw the ball.
Well, this is one that in practice, they're probably stressing, get this off as soon as possible because this guy's going to come up. You got this guy running downfield, but watch how much time Kendrick Law has. He's got all day. If he just waited a second, you're going to get your tight end downfield a little bit further and just overthrows Willie Rodriguez on a great play call that had him for a touchdown.
Quickly to the perimeter. And a stumbling catch made by Gilmore.
And that's so hard. It's so hard for Kendrick Law because, like I said, I guarantee the 2 or 3 times they ran that in practice, Kendrick probably didn't have a ton of time. He's thinking, okay, I got to catch it. I got to find the laces. I got to throw that as quick as possible. And they're stressing that, right? So he's catching. He's doing what he did in practice. Just had a tick longer than he thought to let Willie Rodriguez clear the defense. And a big miss, but he's made an impact on this game so far tonight. With the ball in his hands, I expect that's not the end, or the last time we'll see him with an opportunity to make a big play.
Cutter bullied, looking for the crossing route. Everybody's covered, and he gets taken down. And Tennessee with the sack, led by Dominic Bailey. And we got an extra pushing and shoving coming from Bailey.
Yeah, Bryson Eason was pushing the pocket on this one. You're going to see it open up right over the middle. The crosser clears the linebacker. He's got his tight end over the ball, but you just feel the pocket compressing when it does that to a young quarterback. Your internal clock starts to speed up, and just wasn't ready to let that one go.
55-yard attempt for Jacob Cowaway. It stays left. And a missed opportunity for Kentucky, and that double pass was wide open. It's a 3-touchdown deficit midway through the 3rd quarter. They missed on the double pass, and they missed trying for 3 in a 3-touchdown game. 11 plays of 37 of 45 of 53 of 60. 1,300 yards of offense. Peyton Manning outdueled Tim Couch, who threw for 476. Those numbers are stupid.
Insane. You know what's even more impressive? How they threw for that many yards with those huge shoulder pads. We couldn't make them any smaller back then.
Nah, they were cool.
By the way, did you see Drew Mestamaker from North Texas throw for 608 the other day?
Not bad for a guy who never started in high school.
Yeah.
How about our quarterbacks tonight? Putting up some big numbers. By the way, Hal Mummy after that game said simply, I enjoyed watching both quarterbacks.
It's pretty crazy.
Kentucky said the ball came out, and they came out of there with it. The officials disagreed. They need a break like that. It was Jordan Lovett who picked it up. Well, now 2nd and 7. There's a pulling guard. Aguilar going deep down the right side. Another big play. It's Chris Brazel, the second, with a 51-yard catch.
Boy, this is just a great job by Chris Brazel. Initially, he's going to get pushed to the sideline by the cornerback. Does a great job of what we call stacking the defender to get back on top and give Joey Aguilar room to throw that to the middle of the field or back to the inside.
Aguilar fires back to the end zone. It was Brazel, but he was out of bounds. It's really interesting the way Joey Halsey put it to us. He said, these plays used to be open in this offense. Now we have to create them.
Yeah. Again, pull protection, right? So getting heavy, getting the defense worried about the run, those safeties' eyes in the backfield, and then nobody's helping over the top for these receivers running downfield. And I can't stress enough that was something they didn't do well last year with Nico, is complete those big-time throws to the perimeter downfield.
Peyton Lewis breaks free, and then a stiff arm. And he's out of bounds at the 4.
Joey Aguilar has really added that element back into this offense, along with some of the scheme changes that we've been hitting on so far tonight. at length because it's been such a big part of the 42 points they have and looking to add on to here.
Tryon Nichols was injured on coverage, and he limped his way back to the Kentucky sideline.
Ryan Nichols shaken up.
So he's replaced in the secondary by Nasir Addison. 3rd and goal for Tennessee.
330 pass yards tonight for Tennessee, just 38 rush yards. Haven't really needed the run game.
Aguilar fires, and multiple flags. It was Addison on the coverage, trying to fire it into Mike Matthews. Addison just entered the game after Nichols got injured.
Yeah, he's back from injury.
Pass, holding, defense, number 21. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And Nasir Addison back in the lineup, back from injury, kind of that 3rd corner tonight. It's always physical down on the goal line. Misses on the jam, wraps up Mike Matthews, and then was all over his back as Joey Aguilar tried to squeeze this one in there. Good call.
.73 yards of penalties. Tennessee's straight ahead run game, and they plow their way in. It's Peyton Lewis with the touchdown run. Five plays, 63 yards. Tennessee's big play offense has opened a can tonight.
A can of
all of it.
Touche.
Extra point is good. They're nearly halfway to 100.
It's the explosive plays, right? Watch the route on the outside by Brazel. He's going to get pushed towards the sideline, by J.Q. Hardaway. Then he gets back on top. That's stacking the receiver. So it allows Aguilar to throw to the outside or to the inside. It's a great friendly route by Brazel. Great throw by Aguilar. And just the physicality at the point of attack here to finish it off from this Tennessee offensive line. Boy, there was, what, 2 or 3 drives there after the opening drive where they stalled out a little bit, and then just, they've been lights out. Unstoppable since that point, on to 49 points, and we still got a lot of football left.
That's Jason Pendleton. He's Sam Pendleton's dad. His son has started all 8 games at center. It hasn't allowed a sack. Coming in, 939 career snaps.
More importantly, might be wife April next to him, Tom, who Mr. Pendleton said where all of his athletic ability came from. And this is Sam Pendleton's face mask that he uses. That's his dad on the left. He did note the photograph is in color.
Yes.
Not high definition, but it is color. When we saw him last night at the team hotel and told us that Sam does that, that's who he is. He said he's kind of an old soul, a guy that just loves throwbacks, and did that to kind of honor his dad on his own.
They run a cattle farm over in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. Let's get to the studio. Here's Dari. Well, there are 2 stories there. And number one, it's what Mike Elko has built at Texas A&M, and he continues to pound the table looking for respect for his program. I think it's there. I think it's there nationally. And then the Brian Kelly era at LSU. After they built that lead, as Dari had mentioned, there's 1.5 yards on first down.
It's just the expectations that everyone, including myself, had for LSU coming into the season because of the collection of talent. The defense, especially early in the year, looked like it was going to be elite. And you're like, okay, the offense is definitely going to come along, right? It has to with all the talent and speed they have, and they just...
It's a $100 million contract. He left Notre Dame, and he said, I'm going there because I have a chance to win a national championship. Does that change? I should say this. Does that impact how you view what LSU has accomplished in that span?
Yeah, because the expectations are national championship or bust. I mean...
Boley somehow evades the rush and dumps it off.
They fired Ed Orgeron after 18 months after winning a national championship, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying the expectations are not just to be good, but to be great at LSU.
Well, the last handful have won a national championship by the end of their 4th season, whether it was Orgeron, Miles, or Saban. Orgeron doing the media rounds now.
He's trying to get back into it, man.
Boley dumps it off and tried to go Mahomes there over the head of Patterson.
You know, that buyout money only lasts so long, and then you feel like...
I could make 18 last a little while longer.
You think?
Yeah, probably.
You seen Coach Ono spends a lot of time at the beach, man. It's a lot of pina coladas.
Said he just sold that condo, though. He's got to move out in January, I think.
Buy a lot of rollback hoodies, wouldn't it?
I believe he told Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman that the other day.
Okay.
Cole Kublik, noted podcast listener. Second
Noted
10.
Podcaster.
Yeah, how does he have time? Here's Dowdell picks up a yard. All right, so we noted this earlier. Tennessee, sub 20% chance to make it to the playoff coming into this game. They went out, which, by the way, you still got Oklahoma. You still got a Vandy team that is top 5 on Monday afternoon.
Might be. Yeah, the road doesn't get easy starting with Oklahoma next week. Even though they lost today, that defense is elite.
5-man rush. Boley corks it deep down the sideline, and it's a flag down after it went through the hands of DJ Miller. Working on Ty Redmond.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I love the trust Cutter Boley has here in his big 6'3", 205-pound true freshman DJ Miller. Just throw it up to him. Let him go up and try to make it. And the other true freshman, Ty Redmond, got lost a little bit with his eyes in the backfield. Tried to find the receiver late and never got his eyes back around to the football. So good call there. But get to know DJ Miller's name. I mean, there's a lot to be pleased with. There's a lot to be disappointed with so far tonight for Kentucky, but you found a few guys that I think are going to be really good. Cutter Boley won. Kendrick Law has made plays, and then DJ Miller's been a bright spot and a guy that's going to keep getting better for this Kentucky football team as well.
DJ Miller, and I thought we'd see a little Cam Miller tonight too.
Yeah.
Both those young receivers for the Wildcats look like they have some promise.
85 yards to DJ Miller tonight. Second and 5. Boley, he can run for it. He slid early. He did the same thing against Texas. Remember, you're down where your slide begins. And so that's a yard short of the first down. I'm not advocating quarterbacks taking extra hits, but when it comes to picking up a first down or not, that can be a huge difference maker.
You could dive forward, right? I mean, you can still protect yourself and be smart by getting down, but diving forward to allow yourself to pick up a first down, which you would have done there.
Instead, it leaves him with 3rd and 1. Patterson took a hit, but got his body over the line. It was Jeremiah Thielander with the hit. What a great visit with Thielander this week, who lost his helmet and had to come out for a play. His dad was a college coach at a number of different stops, including at Missouri in the early 90s, where he developed a great friendship with a couple other guys on that staff, like Andy Reid, Dirk Cutter, Marty Morningway. Later coached alongside Steve Spagnuolo.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was wearing Pendleton's face mask. He just feels like a throwback when you talk to him.
Yeah, he lit up when you said, man, you hit guys hard. It's like you don't have a care in the world. And I felt like his reply is, yeah, I'm a football player. By the way, this was a horrendous Missouri team in 1989 and 1990. They ran the run and shoot, and they had a hard time scoring, or keep teams from scoring points. Andy Reid was the O-line coach. Thielander right in front of Super Bowl champion.
Is that Randy Johnson in the back middle right there?
Could have been, could have been.
Thielander just, I said, you have zero regard for your body. Like, you just don't care, do you? He goes, no. I see ball carrier, I throw my body however I need to. Collisions. He's fun to watch, man. You see that helmet's got all those black marks on it from just throwing his body out there.
Played at Gainesville High School in Georgia. Was a four-star recruit coming out of the Red Elephants program.
I remember got thrown into action last year after Keenan Peely went down. Ended up starting 8 games, but thrown into the fire quickly and matured very quickly as well.
Boley lets it go to the end zone. Caught in the near corner by DJ Miller. Touchdown, Kentucky. Little hitch and Boley's getting up. They're going to go for 2.
This is an unbelievable catch. Watch the left foot come down there. He secures the ball through impacting the ground as well. That is, once again, love it. We saw it earlier. It drew the penalty. You got one-on-one cover. Just throw it up to your 6'3" receiver. See if he can make a play that time. Great protection. DJ Miller was actually on a for the love of the game route, which means he's not supposed to get it.
Let's go for Dos, brought to you by Dos Equis. Boley rolling. Oh, took a shot. Jaden Perlotti, a freshman out of Buford High School outside of Atlanta, stops him on the 2-point try. Boley's thrown for 4 touchdowns tonight. 291 yards through the air. Burrow. And so the folks at Ike's Artisan Pizza showing out watching the game tonight. And I thought there'd be more orange in the building.
Oh, tables are orange.
Yeah, there's some Kentucky fans.
Tea parties.
Oak Grove straddles the line. There's Bug Tussle that's right there on the line. You've probably been through there.
Bug Tussle, yeah. You got a great spa there.
Hey, breaking news, it's not a spa. Under a minute to go. We're still in the 3rd quarter. Thanks to the folks at Ike's. Cumberland Avenue, Middlesboro, just a mile west of the Cumberland Gap. And his longtime rivalry has seen some thrilling games, including a 4-overtime game with Woodson at quarterback for Kentucky and Ainge at quarterback for Tennessee. They had another one that was played back in the early 50s after the Great Appalachian Snowstorm. And Tennessee uses Deshaun Bishop, former Carnes Beaver, to gnaw his way to a half a yard.
You know, this up-tempo offense for Tennessee isn't really built to get into what we call 4-minute offense, slow things down, take time off the clock. I was just about to say I wouldn't be surprised if they keep pressing the issue here. It's just kind of how they operate. They got one speed. Go score.
I understand that. The thing that I would be worried about is not just the value of Aguilar, but also 3 wide receivers who play more snaps as a trio than anybody else in the SEC. If I were Josh Heupel, I think I would love the opportunity, and maybe it's to start the 4th quarter to get them off their feet. Aguilar on the post completes another big one. This is Staley, and Staley trying to outrun everybody. Looking around to see where the traffic was. Picks up 56.
Well, you had a blitz by Kentucky. They ended up bringing 6, which means you got 1 high safety and man coverage across the board, and Aguilar did a great job of attacking the slot defender there in space.
To the 4th quarter we go.
Finally.
Tennessee is up 22. They've had 5 completions tonight of 35 yards plus, and Joey Aguilar is already thrown for 386. You won't believe what's going to happen in the 4th. Internet. Under the lights at Kroger Field, Tennessee a quarter away from its 5th consecutive win in this series. And they would improve to 37-4-1 as a ranked opponent of Kentucky. Last year, Kentucky finished 4-8, first losing record through the regular season since 2015. And this would drop the Cats to 0-5 in league play and 2-5 overall. It's Deshaun Bishop with the carry.
Boy, how good has Deshaun Bishop been this year? You just thought there was no way when Dylan Sampson left that you weren't going to take a step back at that position, right? I'm not so sure you have. From a guy that was a former preferred walk-on, put on scholarship in January, the patience and the explosiveness that he displays, it's been a bright spot and a pleasant surprise.
And here he is, another first down carry. He had over 8,300 yards with Carnes High School. 3rd most in Tennessee high school history. Back-to-back 5A Mr. Football Awards.
How many years?
8,347 yards. I think that was 4 seasons.
I didn't know if he started as like a 7th grader, maybe. You know, the thing is, Jordan,
his junior year, he went for 3,100 yards, Cole. That's a lot.
Wow.
Thank you, Tom, for the clarification that that's a lot of rushing yards in the season, though, because I was curious.
I thought you were going to ask Jordan something. Play clock at 3. Here he is, straight ahead, and a touchdown run for Deshaun Bishop. Bishop beats Wildcat, and it's a 5-yard plunge. Tennessee's halfway to 100. Not a bad bounce-back performance.
No. Not much on offense that has gone wrong for this Tennessee unit. They've had physicality when they've needed to around the goal line. Obviously, the explosive plays have been there in spades, but this is what you needed to see in what was a get-right game before the gauntlet really begins on their quest to get back to the college football playoff. And I mentioned the explosive plays were on display from the first drive as he hits Chris Brazzell for the touchdown while he was getting waylaid in the pocket. This one dropped it right in the bucket to, yeah, you guessed it, Chris Brazzell. Then he finds Mike Matthews somewhere down there for another big play. And it's almost like bombs away. You know when you played Madden back in the day and you did the Hail Mary play even though it wasn't a Hail Mary. It's like, I'm going to throw it deep every time. It's kind of what it's felt like for Joey Aguilar.
6 of 6 for 274 on passes 20 yards plus.
I think that's you check this box, right? The offense got back on track after 20 points against Alabama last week and a couple of miscues. The question now, I think, goes to the other side of the ball, because this Kentucky offense has struggled quite a bit at times this year. I'm not saying that they're bad, because Cutter Boley's showed a lot of improvement. They're going to be really good as the year progresses, but this defense, is it playoff caliber? Because it was last year. It was elite. They leaned on it when they needed to. As good as the offense is, you're going to need some complementary football against Oklahoma, against Vandy.
I think for Tennessee as a fan base, this is the perfect ending to what has been a very controversial and heartbreaking week. They lost one of the most beloved coaches in college sports this week to the San Francisco Giants, Tony Vitello. 17-25. He not only led him to a national championship on the diamond, there he is at a basketball game top right. He's a huge Tennessee sports fan. And when they won it all, there was Rick Barnes and Josh Heupel made the trip to Omaha. They had a big decision to make. Congratulations to Josh Elander, one of the best hitting coaches, if not the best in college baseball. Takes over for Vitello. Is going to take his talents to the Bay to work for Buster Posey. There is a comp, and I don't, certainly not one for one, but in terms of accomplishing greatness and turning a program around as Vitello did, there wasn't much going well in the Tennessee athletic department when he showed up on Rocky Top. And then leaves for the pro game, the first college head coach to do that since Dick Hauser left Florida State to go to George Steinbrenner's Yankees in 1980. There's a Rick Pitino comp to be made. Pitino left here, won it all in '96, and then went to the Celtics. What was his dream job? I don't think the Giants were Tony's dream job, but nonetheless, he's getting a crack at the big leagues.
I'm just excited to see he and Drew Gilbert in the same dugout.
Isn't it funny that the Tennessee baseball program was getting criticized for the props and the pimp coat and everything else they did, and now everybody in the big leagues does it?
Well, and everybody wanted to go play for that because it was fun, and he let the guys have a personality, and he let them actually go out and have a little bit of fun when they were playing baseball, which is a game. And I think it fed off from his teams. Guys that could pound the baseball wanted to go play for him. I mean, like you said, Tommy turned that program around and made them must-see baseball.
Huge fan of Tennessee sports. A couple years ago for the Tennessee-Kentucky basketball game, he was supposed to fly up with a donor, but he had a surgical procedure. He couldn't get on a plane, so he said, yeah, I jumped in the car. I wasn't going to miss it. It's set adjacent to Rick Barnes' bench. They're going to miss him in Knoxville, but Elander will keep that recruiting class together. Boley over the middle. There's a first down for Willie Rodriguez.
You mentioned him at football and basketball games, Tom. It was always cool running into him on the sideline of football games, and he would actually want to talk football. He would ask questions about scheme and ask questions about personnel. We think that guy on the other team, how are we going to slow him down today? How are we going to deal with that guy? It was always a pleasure to speak to on the sideline as well.
Willie Rodriguez injured on the completion in the first down. That'll stop the clock and send us to a break. Hope Willie is all right. He's frustrated. Talked to him a couple weeks ago about his recruiting process, and grew up such a big Kentucky fan. He said, I had to separate that from the process. I didn't want it to cloud my judgment to find the best fit for me as a quarterback. He said, but then once I decided this is where I wanted to be, it has allowed me to wrap my arms around the program as a whole and kind of attack it with the enthusiasm I knew as a young Kentucky fan. And here's a guy who was in Rupp Arena doing the John Wall back in the day. Ice cream paint job and everything.
What was the John Wall again? Can you show me?
Not on camera.
Was it? Oh, it was it was this one.
Yeah, you got it.
That's right.
He asked for the camera to be on him 52 times a game, and now he's not going to do it on camera.
They get shy because you don't want to dance on camera.
Cream on the outside, clean on the inside.
You've changed.
Kentucky first down. Cats go to Auburn next week. If you didn't like our show tonight, just wait 7 more days. And Florida comes here the week after. They close with a couple of ranked opponents at Vandy and at Louisville. And Louisville is in a tussle with Boston College. Ooh, that was a big hit.
Dowdell, who was banged up earlier in this game. Mark Stoops is going, how do you not throw a flag on that?
Jaden Perlotti, the freshman, is
Timeout on the field for a player injury.
getting extended playing time tonight.
You know,
that wasn't targeting, was it?
I think that's what he's talking about. It definitely would be a defenseless receiver if he had focus on the ball. Let's see where his eyes are.
No, not targeting.
No. Good clean hit, just a hair late. Probably just knocked the wind out of him. Got a shoulder right to the stomach.
Cole, is there more orange in this building than blue?
Well, if you count the seats, then no, there's not. But if you're counting clothing articles, then yes, I believe that there is.
Talk with folks around the program today, not the football program, but those surrounding it. They said, you know, that guy's got to be cold. It's the enthusiasm just wasn't there because of the 2 losses already this season. You think back to how high the expectations were going into that Georgia game, the opportunities they had against Alabama. There will be plenty of teams that fall by the wayside when it comes to the college football playoff that are in front of Tennessee in terms of pecking order right now. Think about teams like Miami and Iowa State last year, just to name a couple. And some will be unexpected, some you can see coming. As long as you continue to win, Josh Heupel's right there to return to the CFP.
No doubt. The middle pack of the SEC, you know, teams 3 or 4 through 8 or 9 is just a massive question mark. I mean, there's so many teams that could still make a run that have shown signs of being elite. So many one-loss teams. Obviously, Missouri losing today.
Some of those teams you could pick off one trying to make a run.
Yeah, no doubt.
4-man rush. Boley goes back across the grain. There's the flag on PI. Miller, the intended receiver.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. The ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Yeah, it was a little shake route from DJ Miller. He's going to stutter and then keep going. Boo Carter on his hip just grabbed him. Both hands around his waist.
You know, Tom, you mentioned the Alabama game for Tennessee, the Georgia game for Tennessee. I know fans don't like to find positives and losses, but when you look at how physically they matched up to those teams, and maybe there's a little bit of drop in those 2 opponents that we're referencing also, but that was as close as I've seen it, specifically with Georgia for maybe 13 years, a decade plus. There was no pushing around of Tennessee in that game. There was no being physically dominated of Tennessee against Georgia or Alabama. And if anything, they matched it and imposed their will as many times as their opponents did in those 2 games. And that's the standard of physicality in this league. So I take that away from what they did. And then what you're referencing about trying to put some things together here in the stretch run, I don't know how you couldn't be thinking about playoffs.
There's 2nd and 1 now for Kentucky. Trying to keep this drive alive. 10th play of the drive. There's a flag, and Boley delivers on time. I think to your point, all of the elite programs have taken a step back with the distribution of talent. But the Georgias and the Alabamas were the 2 programs.
Offside. Defense. Defensive tackle. In the neutral zone at the time of the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Made 2nd down.
Those are 2 programs that set the standard for other teams in this league, saying if we can't get by them, we won't reach our goal. Lane Kiffin talked about that 2 years ago when Ole Miss got outplayed by Georgia.
Correction, that penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
You could argue that Georgia defensively is what made Josh Heupel go back to the drawing board and reinvent who they are offensively to try and be more physical.
We've mentioned that pull protection, the offseason emphasis. Maybe more impressive is that 2 off seasons ago, it was physicality, bonus bigs, being able to win different ways, and they've carried that not only the last season, but this season as well.
Cutter Boley looking end zone. He throws short of it, and a stretch. Ball came loose. And give me a touchdown for Hester. And we'll see if indeed Tennessee recovered it. No signal. Now he says touchdown. There you go.
touchdown.
Meanwhile, Jaden Perlotti's saying, how can it be a touchdown? I got the football.
And J.J. Hester, again, does a great job here with his left hand of reaching the ball out. Great awareness of where he is. Yep, touchdown. Again, J.J. Hester, one of those guys that little to zero role in this offense coming into today. Now his second touchdown of the game. Fourth or fifth reception.
Four-star recruit out of Booker T. Washington in Tulsa, started at Missouri, a couple of years, beset by injuries, and then the same thing at Oklahoma. Kentucky's put up 34 points, and they're not even close.
Now,
on we roll. 8:12 to go in this one, and Tennessee's goals still in front. They went out. They got a 90% chance to make the playoff. Now, easier said than done, right, for a team that's already lost a couple. I believe they'll be favored in every game from here on out because Vanderbilt is at home. That is snapshot as of today. Go on the road to Gainesville with an interim coach.
I mean, Oklahoma and Florida are sneaky, though. Oklahoma's defense is elite, and the way Tennessee defensively is giving up explosive plays, John Mateer is going to be able to exploit that as well. So that's going to be a massive matchup next week for Josh Heupel's former squad.
So can they, is this Tennessee offense good enough that they can win shootouts?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm going to follow up what Jordan's saying, though, about the defense. That would have been my concern. My hot take for the Tennessee schedule the rest of the way through would be outside of Vanderbilt, Florida would be the most difficult game left. One, in the swamp. Two, that's a team, when they find it, now granted, it's been hot and cold off and on, when they find the run game, they can control the pace of the game.
Yeah.
And they can keep that Tennessee offense off the field. This is also a north-south penetrating defense. The zone scheme that Florida runs with the misdirection, it's perfect to offset that. Now, sometimes it just doesn't go, and you have the right recipe for it, but that, to me, would be the biggest concern before Vanderbilt on this schedule because Oklahoma can't block, and Tennessee has defensive linemen that can get to the quarterback and stuff the run.
Anybody surprised Joey Aguilar's still in the game?
Yes. I am. 22-point game, 3 scores, 8 minutes left. Maybe you're thinking this is the last drive, but maybe that shows you that they're not really trusting the defense to be able to stop Kentucky when they touch. But again, it's still a 3-score game.
Remember one of Kentucky's best drives, 8 minutes. That 16-play, 96-yard drive took 8:38 off the clock. Stark Thomas is getting some run here. The product out of Homer, Louisiana. Played at Duke and New Mexico State. He was second team CUSA, playing alongside a guy named Pavia at New Mexico State. Good thing that guy got an extra year, huh?
Yeah.
Similar concerns with that game when you think about it. Vanderbilt loves to control the pace, tempo of games, can keep your offense off the field, put defenders in conflict. That's setting up to be a literal play-in game.
Yep.
Remember that Pavia rule is the reason Aguilar got another.
So how do we break down who won? We love to do this in baseball, especially. Who won the trade between Tennessee and UCLA?
I don't think it's close.
No.
Not even close. I mean,
especially now, it doesn't look like Nico's going to be available maybe for much more of the season. So just by that, you would say Tennessee.
But the downfield passing last year was just not good at all. Creating explosives by pushing the ball downfield was really absent, especially in their biggest games, because of some inaccuracies from Nico himself, not because there weren't opportunities.
There's Matthews with the catch.
You see a performance like you did from Joey Aguilar today, that gives you hope. But even beginning the season or earlier in the season, Georgia, I mean, those quote-unquote underthrows that he was just giving his guys opportunities downfield to make plays. That's been the biggest impact, I think, immediately that Aguilar has made in this offense, in this system. The ability to be consistent in those throws downfield, and it really unlocks everything. The run game, the perimeter throws, the space on the perimeter when now teams got to back up and give you space at the line of scrimmage.
He threw for 371 against Georgia on 24 completions. He tied Peyton the best passing game in Tennessee history against Georgia. First down run to convert the 3rd and short by Deshaun Bishop. Seven different players have scored a touchdown tonight. The 56 points, most against a conference opponent since the nation's best offense, led by Hendon Hooker in 22.
Just a vast departure from what we saw last week. I know the defenses are different, but Aguilar was just 3 of 8 on throws of 15+ last week against Alabama.
I'll still go back to last week. Without the drops, I'd love to see where Tennessee was in the 4th quarter of that
Definitely.
game.
Yeah, a couple of those would have been big plays, and we're 15 or more yards downfield that Tennessee didn't come down with.
They came into tonight 2nd in FBS with 10% drops. I don't think we've seen a single drop tonight.
No.
And going back to what Jordan said about rep count with those receivers, you have to wonder. It's similar to what we said with the Ole Miss defense last week, that D tackles, D linemen have been on the field so much. At some point, are you just wearing down physically? And did that play into it?
Well, Rodarius Jackson, the freshman from Memphis, getting some run here late in this one.
He's a guy that they want to be able to develop into a guy that can be a 3 and spell, one of the top 3 guys at times.
Cole, when we first saw this Josh Heupel offense when he was at Missouri, they would save legs by the offside not even running routes. And then if you ran a 50-yard route, you would just cross the sideline and come out of the game. The next guy would run out there and replace
the sideline. Yeah. I mean, I remember we did that game, and Andre Ware was just dumbfounded at the fact that backside receivers on plays would not come off the ball.
Yeah,
they would just stand there. It was crazy to see.
And Andre ran the run and shoot. Like, he won a Heisman playing in a similar style tempo offense.
Did you hear Andre's humble brag last night?
No, I missed it. He was going off on guys that were quitting. I saw that.
Yeah, but Merklinger threw for 600, and he was asked by the guys in the studio if he ever threw for 600 yards, and he laughed. I kind of didn't know exactly where he was going, and he said, I did throw for 500 and a half, and I didn't play in the second half.
Jeez.
People forget.
It's a great job by Star Thomas here. He's actually going to land on Wendell Moy.
Wendell Moy
right there.
He may have made the block party right there.
Yeah, he probably did.
Gracious.
He's what, 7-8 yards downfield?
Easily. Talked to Glenn Ellerby about him too. He said he has been just an awesome addition to this room. Said came in really quiet when they got there, but the leadership has just skyrocketed almost weekly that he's been a part of this team. A guy they lean on now. Just a massive piece of that offensive line in this offense.
Well, we talk versatility all the time in college football, but the versatility to split time between right guard and left guard is what allowed them to finally get David Sanders, a healthy David Sanders, on the field as a starter.
Absolutely. And Sam Pendleton coming in and moving to center, because he kind of toyed with that at Notre Dame, but was never the full-time center. They didn't know if he was necessarily going to be able to do it. And it was funny talking to his dad. He said, I've been telling him since he was 8 years old, you need to be center. And he said, no, I'm a tackle. I'm a tackle. Obviously now pretty good center.
56-point evening for Tennessee. And when we come back, it'll be the 10th play of the drive. And they're still driving. Second and 3 coming up.
Aguilar still in the game. Why not,
Well, I'll give you a lot of reasons why not.
I was just going to say.
We have learned his value to this team, to this offense. Is swing the outside and they stay in bounds. I mean, look what happened with Bub Prabula in Missouri today.
Massive loss.
Let's get to our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
The only thing better than Thanksgiving is deep fried Thanksgiving.
You ever deep fry your turkey?
My dad used to all the time. It's the best way to do it. I don't touch it. I don't barbecue. I don't cook, man.
Interesting.
I can make eggs. I can make a breakfast burrito. I'm a breakfast guy.
AG1?
I can do that too if I'm getting paid.
Aguilar will take a knee.
I'll do anything if you pay me on my Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
First time since 2019, Tom, Tennessee's had 300-yard receivers. And speaking of a quarterback you mentioned earlier, we were there for that game.
What game was that?
Missouri.
It's a nice little factoid.
Yeah, yeah. Where else was I that weekend? Cole's memory is
Rock
way
Quarry
better
Road,
than mine.
probably?
Probably so.
Rock Quarry Road.
Well, we'll see Mark Stoops in Kentucky next week at Auburn. And it'll be interesting to see the momentum or lack thereof of this program. And that's something that this fan base will give more thought to going forward. But the story of tonight is Tennessee. 56 points in a 22-point win against their border rival. And Josh Heupel's team stays alive in a pursuit of a playoff appearance with a 2-loss year. Joey Aguilar goes for 396 and 3 touchdowns. Josh Heupel was not happy with the offense, with the defense in the first half. They hold the Cats at 13 in the second half. Let's see if his mood has changed. He's with Cole.
Coach, you have to be pleased with the bounce back on offense, what you were able to put up against a pretty good Kentucky defense tonight.
Yeah, they are a good defense. You know, we were able to stretch the field vertically tonight, make some plays, and there's some things that didn't like that weren't super clean early, but a good night for the guys in orange, and we'll take it on the road.
Based on what you saw tonight, I know you were frustrated with the defense at halftime. What will be your focal point heading into this week?
And you know, we just give 2 big plays up early in the football game. You know, man-to-man, bad eyes, and we don't fit a perimeter screen, which is just another form of run game. You know, there were some positives too, turnovers that created momentum, changed the way the game was played early. Got to get some guys back healthy, and obviously another big one in the league next week.
I don't know if you're taking applications for off-season studies for people to come in and work with you guys, but the physicality 2 years ago, you guys were 4 for 4 on pull protections on explosive plays today. Just what does it do with the amount of time you put into that to see it show up like it did on the field tonight?
It's a credit to our offensive staff, Coach Halsley, Coach Ellerby, and everybody, and a real credit to our guys too. You know, we're a good football team. We just got to continue to find the right side of the details that can help us down the stretch.
Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate it.
This Tennessee team, and the offense especially, continues to evolve. Joey Aguilar had a monster night, 396 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh Heupel gets his old college team. Oklahoma comes to town next week at Neyland Stadium. The New Mexico State, Florida, and Vandy as they aim for the postseason. Good night to wear checkerboard overalls, and Tennessee exits with the win. After a break, we'll get you to Dari Noka and the gang for SEC football final.